Chapter 751. P.S. Here's today's update. At the same time, I'll help Chidian 515 Fan Festival. Everyone has 8 votes, and you'll even get some coins for voting. 5 days later, in the Haitian Palace. 5 days later, a thick pill fragrance wafted out from the sacred beast cauldron and filled the entire training room. The pill refinement was a success. The 9-song shield-breaking pill has finally been successfully refined. Mo Qingyun's face lit up when he saw the pill fragrance wafting out from the sacred beast cauldron. He quickly opened the cauldron. As Mo Qingyun opened the cauldron, pills of 9 different colors appeared in front of him. Mo Qingyun waved his hand and took out the pills from the sacred beast cauldron. 17 top-grade, 9 melody astral-breaking pills. Not bad. Mo Qingyun smiled faintly as he looked at the 17 9-songs shield-breaking pills in his hand. He carefully put them away. After putting away the 9-tune shield-breaking pill, Mo Qingyun did not delay in the slightest and immediately continued to refine other medicinal pills. Next, under Mo Qingyun's tireless refining, various alchemy materials were refined into medicinal pills one after another. In the blink of an eye, 1.5 months had passed in the Haitian Palace. After 1.5 months of refining, Mo Qingyun now had several hundred different types of elixirs in his possession. With the help of these pills, I should be able to increase the strength of the Tianyan Manor by several times in a short period of time. As soon as this thought appeared in his mind, Mo Qingyun no longer hesitated and left the Haitian Palace. After leaving the Haitian Palace, Missouri Qingyun sent a sole message to Qi Lian, asking him to come see him. A moment later, Qi Lian arrived at Mo Qingyun's small courtyard. Qi Lian, have there been any suspicious people in Flame City recently? When Mo Qingyun saw Qi Lian, he did not beat around the bush and asked him directly, "Young lord, everything is normal in Flame Capital." Hearing Mo Qingyun's question, Qi Lian responded with a respectful expression. "That's great." Mo Qingyun nodded when he heard this. His expression was still serious as he instructed Qi Lian, "Continue to have people pay close attention to the movements in Yin Capital. If you find any suspicious characters, report to me immediately." "Yes." Qi Lian nodded. "Yes." After giving Qi Lian some instructions, Mo Qingyun pondered for a moment before instructing Qi Lian, "Go and gather Han Luo and the others. Tell them to wait in my small courtyard. After that, I have something to tell them." "Young lord, are you planning to?" Qi Lian frowned when he heard Mo Qingyun's words. Confusion appeared on his face. Although the Tianyan Manor has become the strongest faction in the Flame Capital, its foundation is still a little too weak compared to some of the factions in the province. "I plan to raise everyone's cultivation," explained Mo Qingyun when he saw Qi Lian's puzzled expression. "I'll go and gather them now." Qi Lian did not hesitate when he heard Mo Qingyun's words. He immediately left Mo Qingyun's small courtyard and went to gather Han Luo and the others. After Qi Lian left the small courtyard, Mo Qingyun did not continue to stay and left his small courtyard. After leaving the small courtyard, Mo Qingyun went to find Mo Hong Tian and the others. He planned to give them some pills to raise their cultivation. After a while, Mo Qingyun found Mo Hong Tian and the others in the Tianyan Manor's conference hall. "Qingyun, you're here. Have a seat." Seeing Mo Qingyun enter the conference hall, Mo Hong Tian and the others smiled faintly and greeted Mo Qingyun. Mo Qingyun nodded and walked to an empty chair at the side and sat down. Everyone's cultivation has entered the Pill Palace realm. However, this strength is still too weak. After Mo Qingyun sat down, he released his soul power and sensed everyone's cultivation. After sensing for a while, Mo Qingyun could not help but sigh in his heart. The Mo clan's foundation was too weak. After so many years, with a large amount of pills and cultivation resources, Mo Hong Tian and the others' cultivation was still at the Pill Palace realm. This speed of improvement was too slow. With Mo Hong Tian and the others' cultivation, they could not fight against a faction like the mysterious Ice Palace. Once they lost Qi Lian and the others, they would not be able to fight against some of the factions in Flame Capital. Mo Qingyun knew that he would leave this place one day. He could not stay by the side of the Mo clan forever. Therefore, before he left this place, he still needed to let the Mo clan grow up and truly become an independent existence. Looks like I have to turn the Mo clan into a faction like the mysterious Ice Palace in the coming days. At this moment, Mo Qingyun made a plan in his heart. It was because of Mo Qingyun's plan that a superpower would appear in the Heavenly Soul Continent in the future. Of course, this was a story for another day. After pondering for a short while, Mo Qingyun no longer thought about it. He took out a few jade bottles and handed them to Mo Hong Tian. "Grandfather, there are some pills in here. Later, each of you should take one. It can raise your cultivation by a few levels." Increase by a few levels? Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Mo Hong Tian and the others were shocked. They thought that they had heard wrongly. They knew that Mo Qingyun's alchemy skills were shocking. But taking one pill could increase their cultivation by a few levels. This was a little too frightening. Even if a Heavenly Star Border cultivator takes this Cloud River True Spirit pill, it can increase their cultivation by one level. Seeing the shock on Mo Hong Tian and the others' faces, Mo Qingyun smiled faintly and explained to them, "With your cultivation in the initial and middle levels of the Pill Palace, if you refine this Cloud River True Spirit pill, it won't be a problem for you to reach the upper levels of the Pill Palace." After saying this, Mo Qingyun paused for a while before continuing. Also, the Cloud River True Spirit pill's medicinal properties are mild. Even if you take it with your cultivation, you don't have to worry about the medicinal effects being too violent. Your body won't be able to withstand it. Pill Palace's upper levels. Don't have to worry about being unable to withstand the medicinal effects. Hearing Mo Qingyun's explanation, Mo Hong Tian and the others were stunned. They were shocked by Mo Qingyun's words. If that was the case, the pills that Mo Qingyun gave them were a little too awesome. Thinking back, when their Mo family was in the northern desert town, they didn't even have a single Yuan Dan realm cultivator. Now, Mo Qingyun gave them a pill that could increase their cultivation from the initial and middle levels of the Pill Palace to the upper levels of the Pill Palace. The difference between before and after was too big. If Moqi were to see this scene, he would probably crawl out of the ground. Next, Mo Qingyun passed the Cloud River True Spirit pill to Mo Hong Tian and the others. After that, Mo Qingyun gave them a few more instructions before leaving the assembly hall. After leaving the conference hall of the Tianyin Manor, Mo Qingyun returned to his courtyard. When Mo Qingyun returned to his courtyard, Qilian had already brought Han Luo and the others over. They were waiting for his return. Chapter 752. P.S. Here's today's update. At the same time, I'm trying to garner votes for the Chidian 515 Fan Festival. Everyone has 8 votes and will be given some coins to vote for. Greetings, young lord. Han Luo and the rest immediately knelt down and greeted Mo Qingyun respectfully when they saw Mo Qingyun walking into the courtyard. No need for formalities. Seeing Han Luo and the others' actions, Mo Qingyun smiled faintly and waved his hand, indicating for them to rise. At the same time, Mo Qingyun quickly scanned Han Luo and the rest. After a quick scan, Mo Qingyun had a rough understanding of Han Luo and the rest cultivation. Han Luo and the rest were basically in the Heaven Star Border Stage 2. Only a few of them had reached the Heaven Star Border Stage 3. Looks like I'll have to put in a lot of effort to raise the cultivation of Han Luo and the others. Mo Qingyun sighed inwardly when he found out about Han Luo and the rest situation. He knew that it wouldn't be easy to raise their cultivation. In that case, it would be impossible for Mo Qingyun to raise the Tianyin Manor strength in a short period of time. However, Mo Qingyun wasn't discouraged. After all, this wasn't something that could be done overnight. Qilian, I have some Cloud River True Spiritual pills here. Distribute them to Han Luo and the rest who are in the Heaven Star Border Stage 2. After Mo Qingyun sighed in his heart, he took out some jade bottles and handed them to Qilian before giving him some instructions. Han Luo and the rest were shocked when they heard Mo Qingyun's words. They looked at the jade bottles in Qi Lian's hands excitedly. Inside the bottles were grade 6 king pills, the Cloud River True Spiritual Pills. The Cloud River True Spiritual Pill was a pill that could raise a Heaven Star Border Stage Initial Stage Cultivator's Cultivation by 1 level. At this moment, Mo Qingyun had actually bestowed such a pill to each of them. This truly surprised and shocked Han Luo and the others. One must know that in the Tianyan mansion, they were only servants. If a servant could be bestowed with a Cloud River True Spirit Pill, if news of this spread, there would probably be countless people fighting to the death. Han Luo, there are some 9 songs breaking spirit pills here. Take them and distribute them to those who are at the peak of the pill palace. While Han Luo and the others were still in shock, Mo Qingyun took out another jade bottle and tossed it to Han Luo. The 9-tune star-breaking pellet was a 5th grade king pellet. If a person at the pinnacle of the Pill Palace realm consumes it, there would be a certain chance of condensing the 9 tunes Yellow Springs painting when breaking through to the Heaven Star realm. Although that medicinal pellet was only a rank 5 king pellet, its value was comparable to a rank 7 king pellet. Who would have thought that Mo Qingyun would bestow such a pill to his servants? This was too shocking. I'm not dreaming, am I? Old Liao, try hitting me. F***CK. I didn't let you hit my face. You could still feel pain. This proves that we're not dreaming. The young lord really bestowed us with the 9 tunes, star-breaking spirit pills. Old Liao, I suddenly realized that the greatest fortune in my life is to be able to follow the young lord. Yeah, if I didn't meet the young lord, let alone the Heaven Star realm, I would only be able to reach the high level of the Pill Palace. In an instant, everyone's faces were filled with excitement. They couldn't help but sigh in their hearts. The young lord has nurtured us so much. In the future, we must work harder for the young lord. Of course, if we still don't work for the young lord wholeheartedly, can we still be called human? At this moment, an inexplicable determination rose in the hearts of Han Luo and the others. After a while, Qi Lian and Han Luo distributed the medicinal pellets in their hands to everyone. Seeing that Qi Lian and Han Luo had finished distributing the medicinal pellets, Mo Qingyun took out a jade bottle and passed it to Qi Lian. Qi Lian, this bottle contains the Origin Source Transformation Pellets. Distribute them to Han Luo and the others who have reached the Heaven Star Border Stage 3. The Origin Source Transformation Pellet could increase one's comprehension of the origin source after consuming it. It was more valuable than the previous 2 types of medicinal pellets. Yes, hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Qi Lian distributed the Origin Source Transformation Pellets to Han Luo and the others. Thank you, young lord, for bestowing us with these medicinal pellets. After Han Luo and the others received the medicinal pellets from Mo Qingyun, they immediately revealed a grateful expression and knelt down to pay their respects to Mo Qingyun. There's no need to be so courteous. Rise. Seeing Han Luo and the others' actions, Mo Qingyun showed an indifferent expression and waved his hand at them. Next, I'll bring you to a place to cultivate. Later on, if you feel a pulling force acting on you, you must not resist. Yes. Han Luo and the others immediately nodded in response. After that, Qingyun did not hesitate and immediately brought Han Luo and the others into the 5-directional pagoda. What is this place? The 5 elements energy here is so dense. If I cultivate here, my cultivation speed will increase by at least 5 times. I have a chance to break through to the Heaven Star Border Stage 4 within a year. Not only that, did you notice that the flow of time here seems to be slower? For a moment, Han Luo and the others were shocked as they looked at the interior of the 5-directional pagoda excitedly. There's a time shift formation set up here. 10 days in here is equivalent to 1 day in the outside world. While Han Luo and the others were shocked, Mo Qingyun's words entered their ears. He explained to them and said, "Next, you can cultivate here. Once you break through, I'll bring you out of here." Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Han Luo and the others were shocked. They were quite shocked by Mo Qingyun's words. 10 days in the five-directional pagoda was equivalent to 1 day in the outside world. Didn't this mean that they would have 10 times the time to cultivate? Thinking of this, Han Luo and the others no longer hesitated and immediately consumed the pills to increase their cultivation. Seeing that Han Luo and the others had consumed the pills to cultivate, Mo Qingyun did not stay any longer and left the five-directional pagoda in a flash. The strength of the Tianyin Mansion's formation is unable to withstand the attack of a transcendent realm expert. Looks like I'll have to rearrange it. After emerging from the five-directional pagoda, Mo Qingyun's expression was grave as he prepared to strengthen the Tianyin Mansion's formation. Mo Qingyun knew very well that if the people from the profound Ice Palace came, there would definitely be a transcendent realm expert accompanying them. If they didn't stabilize the array formation, it would be very dangerous for the Mo clan and the others if the array formation was broken. Having made up his mind, Mo Qingyun no longer hesitated and immediately began to set up the formation. Without the assistance of the 9 temples, the speed at which Mo Qingyun set up the formation was significantly slower. Looks like if I have time in the future, I'll have to find an opportunity to study formations. Looking at the speed at which he set up the formation, Mo Qingyun sighed inside and formed a plan. Subsequently, time passed bit by bit as Mo Qingyun set up the formation. In the blink of an eye, half a month had passed. With Mo Qingyun setting up the formation day and night, the Tianyin Mansion's protective formation was finally completed. The miniature stars illuminating the moon formation is finally complete. Looking at his masterpiece, a satisfied smile appeared on Mo Qingyun's face. He smiled faintly and said, "With the defensive power of the minor stars illuminating the moon formation, even a mid-level Abhijna powerhouse wouldn't be able to break it." Chapter 753. In the half a month when Mo Qingyun was setting up the formation, Han Luo and the rest all made breakthroughs with the help of the elixirs. Among them, Han Luo and the rest improved the fastest, directly reaching the peak of Heaven Star Border Stage 4. The rest of the Heaven Star Border Stage 3 cultivators also broke through to the early, middle, and late stages of Heaven Star Border Stage 4 after consuming the Origin Transformation Elixir. As for the Heaven Star Border Stage 2 cultivators, after consuming the Cloud River True Spirit Elixir, their cultivations also improved greatly. Basically, all of them broke through to the Heaven Star Border Stage 3. Among them, there were a few people with amazing talent who miraculously broke through to the Heaven Star Border Stage 4. This result surprised Mo Qingyun. Other than that, what surprised Mo Qingyun was those who were at the peak of the Pill Palace realm. After consuming the 9-twist spirit-breaking elixir, 7 of them condensed the 9-twist Yellow Springs diagram when they broke through to the Heaven Star Border realm. The 9-twist Yellow Springs diagram was ranked in the top 3,000 among the 100,000 Heaven Star Border diagrams. It could be said that after these 7 people condensed the 9-twist Yellow Springs diagram, they soared to the sky. There are actually 7 people who condensed the 9-twist Yellow Springs diagram. It seems that I have underestimated their potential. Seeing the progress of Han Luo and the rest in the 5-directional small pagoda, Mo Qingyun was pleasantly surprised. He was very satisfied with their performance. However, after Mo Qingyun thought about it for a moment, he felt relieved. Han Luo and the rest were not weak. The reason why their cultivation speed was slow in the past was mainly because they lacked cultivation resources. Now that they had the support of sufficient cultivation resources and even powerful elixirs like the 9-twist spirit-breaking elixir, the Cloud River True Spirit Elixir, and the Origin Transformation Elixir, it was difficult for them to cultivate slowly. At this moment, while Mo Qingyun was feeling happy and satisfied with the progress of Han Luo and the rest, Qi Lian walked into the small courtyard. "Young lord," the guard who went to scout the news said that a large group of people is rushing towards Flame Capital. Qi Lian walked up to Mo Qingyun and reported to Mo Qingyun with a solemn expression. Hearing that, Mo Qingyun immediately frowned and asked, "How strong are those people?" "Young lord, other than the few leaders who are in the Heaven Dipper realm, the rest of them are in the Yuan Dan and Pill Palace realm." Hearing Mo Qingyun's question, Qi Lian showed a dignified expression. He quickly responded to Mo Qingyun and asked, "Young lord, the origin of these people is unknown. Do you need me to bring people to expel them?" "Only Yuan Dan realm and Pill Palace realm? Then it shouldn't be Han Yang and the others." Hearing Qi Lian's question, Mo Qingyun pondered for a moment and said, "If I'm not wrong, these people should be from other dynasties who have fled to Flame Capital." In Mo Qingyun's opinion, if Han Yang and the rest were here for revenge, they definitely wouldn't have just sent these people. After knowing the other party's origin, Mo Qingyun didn't thank him anymore and waved his hand at Qi Lian. These people should be from other dynasties who have fled to Flame Capital. As long as they don't cause trouble in Flame Capital, we don't have to bother with them. "Yes, young lord." Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Qi Lian nodded in response. Next, Qi Lian and Mo Qingyun chatted for a while before leaving Mo Qingyun's small courtyard. At this moment, at the entrance of Flame Capital, a large group of people was rushing over. If Mo Qingyun was here, he would definitely be able to recognize the four old men leading the group. They were Xian'ao and the others from the Rolling Curtain Peak. Xianshan and the others had split up to bring the outstanding juniors of the Grand Xian dynasty and the outstanding disciples of the Rolling Curtain Peak to Flame Capital. In the end, they actually bumped into each other. "Cousin Xian Fei, the ancestor asked us to join Mo Qingyun. I heard that you had some interactions with him before. Is he really that powerful?" "I don't know either. When I first met him, he was only at the true energy stage." "Didn't you meet him a few years ago?" "If he was only at the true energy stage then, how could he have killed the 5 prodigies of the profound Ice Palace not long ago? Don't tell me that he rose from the true energy stage to the Pill Palace stage in just a few years. Isn't this cultivation speed too fast? A bunch of idiots. How could they believe such a thing? If his cultivation was so powerful, why would the profound Ice Palace chase him out of the sect? That's right. I really don't understand why the ancestor would ask us to join him." At this moment, Xian Fei and the others were discussing Mo Qingyun. Some admired him, some were in awe, and some were disdainful. As the Tianyan Manor was extremely famous in Flame Capital, Xian'ao and the others found the Tianyan Manor without much effort. "This is the Tianyan Manor? It doesn't seem like much." When Xian'ao and the others arrived outside the Tianyan Manor, a youth wearing a crown muttered to himself with a disdainful expression, "Xian Tian, don't be rude." Hearing the youth's words, Xian'ao and the others' faces immediately darkened. They reprimanded him. After moving Xian Fei and the others to the Tianyan Manor, they still had to rely on Mo Qingyun's protection. How could they allow Xian Tian to be so rude? When he heard Xian'ao and the others' reprimand, Xian Tian showed a nonchalant expression and closed his mouth reluctantly. "Who are you? Why have you come to my Tianyan Manor?" When he saw Xian'ao and the others in front of the Tianyan Manor, a guard at the entrance of the Tianyan Manor asked coldly, "We're here to look for Mo Qingyun. Get him to come out and welcome us." Xian Tian showed an arrogant expression when he heard the guard's words. He ordered the guard arrogantly, "How dare you? How dare you come to my Tianyan Manor to cause trouble? You're courting death." The guard at the entrance of the Tianyan Manor immediately darkened when they heard Xian Tian's words. "Mountain-breaking blade, moon-arching sword." Then, the guards drew their weapons without hesitation and slashed at Xian Tian. Xian Tian's face turned pale when he saw this. There was a lingering fear on his face. He really did not expect that these guards would actually attack and kill him without saying a word. "Please calm down." The expressions of Xian'ao and the others immediately changed when they saw the actions of the guards. They hurriedly blocked the attacks of the guards. "It's just a junior who doesn't know any better. Please forgive him." After blocking the guard's attacks, Xian'ao had an apologetic look on his face. He apologized to the guards and said, "We're Qingyun's seniors from the Rolling Curtain Peak in Mysterious Ice Palace. We're here to discuss something with Qingyun. Please pass on the message. Mysterious Ice Palace, Rolling Curtain Peak. When the guards heard Xianao's words, their expressions immediately changed. They showed some respect and said, "You're Xianao, Xianshan. Seniors, right? The young lord has instructed us to inform him if you've come. I'll inform the young lord right away. Please wait here for a moment." Chapter 754. Oomph. A mere guard dares to be so arrogant. Indeed, like master, like servant. Seeing that the guard had gone to pass on the message to Mo Qingyun, Xian Tian's face immediately darkened as he spoke in a displeased tone. Seeing Xian Tian's actions, Xian Ao and the rest frowned as a tinge of displeasure appeared in their eyes. At this moment, Xian Tian's words were too rude. However, considering Xian Tian's talent, Xian Shan and the rest did not say anything. After all, Xian Tian possessed the level 12 top-tier blood Kirin dragon martial soul. It was understandable for him to be arrogant. Just as Xian Tian was speaking in a displeased tone, the guard who had passed on a message had arrived outside Mo Qingyun's courtyard. Boom, boom, boom. As the guard approached Mo Qingyun's courtyard, a powerful aura swept out from the courtyard and affected the guard. Plop! Under the powerful aura, the guard was so frightened that his legs turned to jelly. He sat on the ground with a pale face. Fortunately, the powerful aura only flashed for a moment and did not continue to crush him. As the powerful aura dissipated, the guard's face was filled with lingering fear as he slowly crawled up from the ground. Young lord, I have a message for you." Following which, the guard's face was filled with fear as he reported to Mo Qingyun's courtyard. Looking at the guards standing at the entrance of the courtyard, Mo Qingyun nodded his head indifferently and said, "Speak. What do you have to report to me?" "Young lord, a group of people arrived outside the residence just now. One of them claimed to be your master, Xian Shan." Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, the guard did not dare to hesitate and immediately reported the situation outside the residence to Mo Qingyun. In addition, there were a few Yuan Dan realm and Dan Palace realm youths who came with senior Xian Shan. "Master is here." Hearing the guard's words, Mo Qingyun revealed a surprised expression. He frowned as he pondered and muttered to himself. There were many Yuan Dan and Dan Palace realm youths who came together with Master. Could it be that the group of people Qi Lian reported to me was Master's group? Those Yuan Dan and Pill Palace realm youths should be the direct descendants of the Xian family. After pondering for a moment, Mo Qingyun guessed the identity of Xian Tian and the others. He guessed inwardly. Master must have brought the direct descendants of the Xian family here, because he was worried that Yulong Chan and the others would seek revenge. Therefore, they moved the direct descendants of the Xian family to the Tianyin Manor so that they could be prepared and not worry about Yulong Chan's sudden revenge. Let's go out and take a look. After understanding the crux of the matter, Mo Qingyun no longer hesitated. He stood up and walked out of the Tianyin mansion. Seeing Mo Qingyun walk out of the Tianyin mansion, Han Luo and the others did not hesitate and quickly followed behind Mo Qingyun. After a while, Mo Qingyun and the others arrived at the entrance of the Tianyin mansion. They saw Xian Shan and the others outside the mansion, as well as Xian Fei and the others behind them. Disciple Mo Qingyun greets Master, Master Xian Ao, and the various elders. After seeing Xian Shan and the others, Mo Qingyun revealed a respectful expression and bowed to Xian Shan and the others. "Brat, since you knew that Ancestor Xian Shan and the others were coming, you actually made them wait outside the mansion for so long. You are really arrogant." Looking at Mo Qingyun, who bowed to Xian Shan and the others, Xian Tian revealed a displeased expression and spoke with dissatisfaction. "Presumptuous." Just as Xian Tian finished speaking, a furious voice sounded from behind Mo Qingyun, following which a terrifying aura erupted from behind him. As soon as the aura erupted, it pressed down on Xian Tian and crushed him to the ground. The aura of more than 100 Heaven Dipper realm experts pressed down on Xian Tian at the same time. One could imagine how terrifying it was. Fortunately, Han Luo and the others held back and did not intend to take Xian Tian's life. Otherwise, a third-level Xian Tian Dimension expert would only end up being crushed by the aura of Han Luo and the others. Sensing the aura from Han Luo and the rest, Xian Shan and the rest were shocked. Their faces were filled with astonishment. The fact that there were more than 100 Heaven Dipper realm experts in the Tianyan Mansion was simply too shocking. One should know that even the strongest Heaven Dipper peak in a mysterious ice palace did not have such a large lineup of Heaven Dipper realm experts. I did not expect the Tianyan Mansion to have so many Heaven Dipper realm experts. This strength is already comparable to a second-rate force in the Jin province. Yes, in terms of a number of Heaven Dipper realm experts, even the first Heaven Dipper peak, Evil Spirit Peak, cannot be compared to the Tianyan Mansion. From the looks of it, it was the right choice to transfer the juniors to the Tianyan Mansion. Seeing Han Luo and the others behind Mo Qingyun, Xian Ao and the others were excited and smiled brightly. As for the aura released by Han Luo and the others that pressed Xian Tian to the ground, Xian Ao and the others did not pay any attention to it. In their opinion, with Xian Tian's overbearing character, it was indeed necessary to take him down a notch. More than 100 Heaven Dipper realm experts. The strength of the Tianyan Mansion is so terrifying. Yes, there are less than 10 Heaven Dipper realm experts in our great Xian dynasty's royal family. The difference is just too great. Xian Tian has kicked an iron plate this time. He is not qualified to be arrogant in front of Mo Qingyun. Yes. He originally thought that Mo Qingyun was just acting cool like him. In the end, Mo Qingyun is really awesome. He's just pretending. Looking at Mo Qingyun, who was standing in front of Han Luo and the others, then looking at Xian Tian, who was lying on the ground like a dead dog, the juniors of the Xian family sneered. Han Luo, don't be rude. Seeing that Han Luo and the others had released their aura and pressed Xian Tian to the ground, Mo Qingyun waved his hand at Han Luo and the others. No matter what, Xian Tian was the junior of Xian Shan and the others. Even if he did not give face to Xian Tian, he could not be too harsh on him. Most importantly, with Xian Tian's cultivation in the third level of the Pill Palace, he was like a child in Mo Qingyun's eyes. It was hard to be calculative with him. Master, let's have a chat in the mansion first. After exchanging some pleasantries with Xian Ao and the others, Mo Qingyun gestured for Xian Ao to enter the Tianyan Mansion. All right, seeing that, Xian Ao and the others did not hesitate and immediately followed behind Mo Qingyun into the Tianyan Mansion. At this moment, when Mo Qingyun brought Xian Shan and the others into the Tianyan Mansion, Qi Lian walked over with a solemn expression. Qi Lian, what's wrong? Mo Qingyun frowned when he saw Qi Lian's expression, and he hurriedly asked him, Young Lord, the guard who was observing the situation in the Tianyan Mansion reported that a group of experts is rushing towards the Tianyan Mansion. Hearing Mo Qingyun's question, Qi Lian's expression turned solemn as he reported the situation outside to Mo Qingyun. Before Qi Lian could finish his sentence, a terrifying aura pressed down on the Tianyan Mansion. They are already here. Chapter 755. Mo Qingyun, get out here and die for this young lord. Immediately after the shocking auras, a gloomy voice filled with anger entered the ears of Mo Qingyun and the others. Xian Fei and the others' expressions changed when they sensed the terrifying aura coming from outside the manor. Their faces were filled with shock. They never thought that the Tianyan Manor would be attacked by strong enemies as soon as they arrived. One of them is at the mid-stage of the second level of the Divine Ability Realm, and two of them are at the late stage of the first level of the Divine Ability Realm. Hunyang really thinks highly of me, Mo Qingyun. Mo Qingyun smiled faintly after knowing the strength of the people who came. He did not panic or fear because the other party was a Divine Ability Realm expert. 3 Divine Ability Realm experts were attacking the Tianyan Manor. Xian Fei and the others' expressions became even more horrified when they heard Mo Qingyun's words. In their opinion, no matter how many Heavenly Dipper realm experts the Tianyan Manor had, it would be useless against 3 divine ability realm experts. Ancestor Xian Ao, will these people who came to attack the Tianyan Mansion vent their anger on us after they massacred the people of the Tianyan Mansion? Why don't we go out and beg for mercy? Maybe they'll spare our lives on account that we're not from the Tianyan Manor. That's the only way. At least we'll have a chance to live. It's better than waiting for death in the Tianyan Manor. If I knew this would happen, I wouldn't have come to the Tianyan Manor. I'd rather stay in the great Xian dynasty. For a time, Xian Tian and the others revealed terrified expressions, and they spoke word after word of panic. All of you shut up. Seeing the behavior of Xian Tian's group, Xian Ao and the others immediately became furious and berated Xian Tian's group. Xian Tian and the others' actions had disappointed them too much. They were kowtowing and begging for mercy the moment they realized they were outnumbered. They were too cowardly and were destined to not go far on the path of the martial Dao in the future. Mo Qingyun did not say much about their reactions. He only watched them silently from the side. Mo Qingyun's thoughts were very simple. He wanted to use the current situation to test Xian Tian and the others and decide whether they would stay or leave. Although he could accept Xian Tian and the others to stay in the Tianyan Manor because of Xian Jinzi and the others, it was on the basis that they were willing to live and die with the Tianyan Manor. Otherwise, it would be fatal for the Tianyan Manor if they suddenly changed sides when they faced with some difficulties in the future. One had to know that the Mo clan, the people from Lianyun City's City Lord's Mansion, and the people from Lianyun City's Alchemist Alliance had yet to fully mature. If Xian Tian and the others were to betray them and attack Mo Hong Tian and the others, it would be a huge hidden danger. As a result, their loyalty still needed to be tested. Mo Qingyun could not accept them rashly as they would pose a potential threat to the Tianyan Manor. Ancestor Xian Ao, this brat has provoked such a powerful enemy. He invited us here because he wants to borrow your strength to fend off the enemy. You must not fall for his trick. Xian Tian panicked when he thought about how the people outside the manor would attack them once they broke through the formation. He tried to persuade Xian Ao and the others. Shut up. Xian Ao's face immediately sank when he heard Xian Tian's words. He scolded him viciously. Xian Ao and the others naturally knew that they had not come to the Tianyan Manor because Mo Qingyun had invited them to fend off the enemy. On the contrary, they had brought Xian Tian and the others to the Tianyan Manor because they wanted to borrow Mo Qingyun's strength to protect them. Xian Ao clearly remembered that a terrifying demonic beast expert had appeared beside Mo Qingyun during the battle for the peak. At that time, even Yulong Chan, who was at the peak of the first level of the divine ability realm, was sent flying by a single slap from the demonic beast expert. Since there was such a terrifying expert beside Mo Qingyun, why would he need them to fend off the enemy? It was obvious that Xian Tian's current thoughts were gauging the heart of a gentleman with his own yardstick. Qingyun, it's our negligence this time. I didn't expect these brats to be so disappointing. After reprimanding Xian Tian, Xian Ao revealed a regretful expression as he said to Mo Qingyun, "Brother Xian, I'm sorry." He did not expect that Xian Tian and the others would not fend off the enemy with Mo Qingyun. Instead, they had come to the Tianyan Manor to add insult to injury. Martial ancestor Xian Ao, you don't have to blame them too much. Everyone has their own aspirations. I won't blame them for this. Mo Qingyun waved his hand with a faint smile when he heard Xian Ao's guilty words. He turned to look at Xian Tian and the others and said, "Your martial ancestor Xian Ao's juniors and disciples. You can be considered as Mo Qingyun's disciples. I'll give you a choice now. Choose to leave immediately or fend off the enemy with the Tianyan Manor. I won't force you in the slightest." Mo Qingyun glanced at Xian Tian and the others and said, "Those who have decided to leave my Tianyan Manor stand behind martial ancestor Xian Ao immediately. I'll open the formation to send you away in a moment. Those who are willing to fend for themselves with my Tianyan Manor, please stand behind Elder Xianing. From today onwards, you're a part of my Tianyan Manor. I'll nurture you wholeheartedly." The expressions of Xian Ao and the others immediately became stern when they heard Mo Qingyun's words. They knew that Mo Qingyun's words were a test for Xian Tian and the others. Whether they could stay or not would depend on their choice. Xian Ao and the others were speechless when they saw Mo Qingyun's actions. Mo Qingyun's actions were understandable. After all, there was nothing in this world that could be obtained without paying a price. Xian Tian and the others wanted Mo Qingyun to take them in and nurture them in the future, so they naturally had to pay a price. Very soon, Xian Tian and the others began to make their choice after Mo Qingyun's words. Kid, stop trying to bewitch us. Dream on if you want us to stay and die with you. Xian Tian walked behind Xian Ao with a sinister smile on his face. He gloated at Xian Ao's misfortune and said, "Also, don't dawdle here. Hurry up and open the formation to send us away." Some others immediately made their choice when they saw Xian Tian make his choice and walk behind Xian Ao. Clearly, they were unwilling to die with the Tianyin manner. They planned to leave immediately and abandon Mo Qingyun and the others. However, it was understandable that they made such a choice. After all, they did not have a deep relationship with the Tianyin manner. Soon, 2/3 of the juniors who had come with Xian Ao and the others to the Tianyin manor chose to leave. They were unwilling to die with the Tianyin manor. When they saw the actions of the crowd, intense disappointment immediately appeared on the faces of Xian Ao and the others. Chapter 756. Xian Fei looked hesitant when she saw Xian Tian and the others making their stand. She was hesitant about what to do. "I've decided to stay and live or die with the Tianyin mansion." After struggling with her thoughts, Xian Fei revealed a determined expression and made a decision that was contrary to everyone else's. After Xian Fei made her decision, she walked behind Elder Xian Ying and subconsciously glanced at Mo Qingyun. Mo Qingyun smiled faintly when he saw Xian Fei looking at him. He nodded at her in response. Mo Qingyun still had some impression of Princess Xian Fei. If it were not for Xian Fei's help back then, he would have had to put in a lot of effort to enter the Mystic Ice Palace. Mo Qingyun really didn't expect that the first person to express her intention to stay would actually be this Princess Xian Fei. Mo Qingyun's impression of Xian Fei immediately improved greatly. Xian Fei blushed when she saw Mo Qingyun looking at her. She turned her head away shyly and did not dare to look at Mo Qingyun. Seeing Xian Fei's actions, Mo Qingyun also shifted his gaze away from her and turned to look at the remaining people. Xian Tian and the others were shocked when they saw Xian Fei's action. They did not expect Xian Fei to stay and live or die with the Tianyin mansion. Was she trying to court death by staying? After being stunned for a moment, Xian Tian and the others began to persuade Xian Fei to change her mind. "Cousin Xian Fei, are you crazy? You're not related to the people from the Tianyin mansion. Why do you want to stay and die with them?" Xian Tian was confused as he hurriedly tried to persuade Xian Fei, hoping that she would change her mind. "Cousin Xian Fei, even if this kid is handsome and has extraordinary talent, you don't have to be a dead couple with him. That's right. It's not easy to find a three-legged toad, but it's easy to find a two-legged man. Cousin Xian Fei, it's not too late to change your mind. Hurry up and stand on our side." Those who were about to leave the Tianyin mansion were all anxious as they tried to persuade Xian Fei. In their opinion, Xian Fei's action was no different from seeking her own death. "No, I believe in him. He must have a way to turn things around." In the face of Xian Tian and the others' persuasion, Xian Fei's expression was firm. She raised her head and looked at Mo Qingyun. Although she had only met Mo Qingyun once, she had an inexplicable trust in Mo Qingyun. Why should a real man fear death? "I'll also stay behind and live and die with the Tianyin manor. At most, I'll just be another generation's genius in 20 years. Seeing that Xian Fei was willing to stay, a young man in a black shirt who was still hesitating also made his decision. "Xian Tan is right. At worst, I'll just die. If I flee like this, what face will I have left in the future?" Even royal sister Xian Fei was left behind. If we were to drag out an ignoble existence, how would we strengthen the Grand Qian dynasty in the future? For a moment, there were a few people who expressed their willingness to stay. Nevertheless, although these people's words were very indignant, it did not change the other people's minds. While they were making their decision, the remaining people had the same thoughts as Qian Tian and the others. They were unwilling to live and die with the Tianyin manor. In the end, there were only 6 people who were willing to stay. They were Xian Fei, Xian Tan, Xian Can, Xian Rong, Li Zheng, and Xiao Junping. Seeing that everyone had made their decision, Mo Qingyun no longer hesitated. He turned to Han Luo and said, Han Luo, go open the formation in the backyard of the Tianyin Manor and send martial ancestor Xian Ao and the others out through the secret passage. Yes, young lord. Han Luo immediately nodded when he heard Mo Qingyun's order. There was a trace of mockery and pity in his eyes when he looked at Xian Tian and the others. Xian Tian and the others thought they were so smart that they were unwilling to throw their lives away. In reality, they were the most pitiful. They had missed a chance to soar into the sky in one fell swoop, just like that. If they knew that Mo Qingyun was willing to give away the Origin Manifestation Pill, Cloud River True Spirit Pill, and 9 Twist Star Piercing Pill so casually, they probably would not be in a hurry to leave. However, Han Luo would not say that. In his opinion, Xian Tian and the others did not have the right to know about this. When he saw the actions of Xian Tian and the others, Xian Ao revealed an extremely apologetic expression as he prepared to explain to Mo Qingyun. It cannot be helped. The discovery of Xian Tian and the others was just too disappointing. Ancestral Master Xian Ao, you don't have to blame yourself. I understand how you feel. Just as Xian Ao was about to explain, Mo Qingyun interrupted him with a faint smile. He took out a jade bottle and handed it to him. Ancestral Master Xian Ao, this contains the Origin Manifestation Pill. Take it back with Elder Xian Ao and the others. It should allow your cultivation to improve. 7th, Grade 7 King Pill, Origin Manifestation Pill. Xian Ao and the others were shocked when they heard Mo Qingyun's words. They could not believe their ears. The Origin Manifestation Pill could increase a Heaven Star Border expert's comprehension of origin energy. It was an immortal pill in the eyes of Heaven Star Border experts. They did not expect Mo Qingyun to take out several Origin Manifestation Pills and give them to refine. This was simply too shocking. Qingyun, this is too valuable. You should keep it. After a short moment of shock, Xian Ao turned down Mo Qingyun's good intentions with a solemn expression. In Xian Ao's opinion, the Origin Manifestation Pill was too valuable. Secondly, he felt apologetic towards Mo Qingyun because of Xian Tian and the others' actions. Now, that Mo Qingyun wanted to give him the Origin Manifestation Pill, he felt too ashamed to accept it. No matter what, he would be too embarrassed to accept it. Haha, Ancestral Master Xian Ao, you don't have to worry. I still have many of these pills on me. Seeing Xian Ao's reaction, Mo Qingyun immediately understood what he was thinking. He smiled faintly and said, also, the first Origin Manifestation Pill has the best effect. Now that Han Luo and the others have taken it, these pills are no longer very effective for them. Why don't you take it back and refine it so that it can unleash its greatest effect? Han Luo and the others have already taken it. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Xian Ao and the others' expressions changed. An intense shock rose in their hearts. Didn't this mean that before they arrived, Mo Qingyun had already consumed more than 100 Origin Manifestation Pills? More than 100 Origin Manifestation Pills. What a terrifying amount of wealth. Even the Mystic Ice Palace wouldn't be able to take it out. At this moment, Xian Ao and the others couldn't help but sigh in their hearts. They felt pity for Xian Tian and the others. Xian Tian and the others had missed out on a great opportunity. Since that's the case, I'll give you some cultivation resources. At this moment, Mo Qingyun looked at Xian Fei and the others. He took out a Qinkuan bag and handed it to them. This is the Cloud River True Spiritual Pill. As long as I refine this Cloud River true spiritual pill, my cultivation can break through to the high level of the pill palace in half a year. 1 billion elemental holy stones. With the support of so many elemental holy stones, I won't have to worry about elemental holy stones for 5 years. This is a mid-grade magic longsword. With the help of this longsword, my battle strength can directly double. For a moment, Xian Fei and the others were shocked. They were greatly shocked by the items in the Chinquan bag. Seeing the reaction of Xian Fei and the others, Xian Tian and the others were shocked. Their eyes revealed a trace of envy. Chapter 757. The changes in Xian Tian and the others' expressions did not escape Mo Qingyun's notice. He saw everything. However, Mo Qingyun did not say anything. Instead, he said to Han Luo, go open the formation right now and take Grandmaster Xian Ao and the others out of the Tianyan mansion. Yes, Han Luo dared not hesitate at all when he heard Mo Qingyun's orders. He immediately made an inviting gesture toward Xian Ao and the others. He said, everyone, please follow me. Afterwards, Han Luo led Xian Ao and the others to the back of the Tianyan mansion. He was about to open the formation and let them leave. Xian Ao and the others no longer hesitated when they saw Han Luo about to take them away. They followed Han Luo to the back of the Tianyan mansion. Xian Tian and the others did not show any joy from leaving the Tianyan mansion. On the contrary, they seemed slightly disappointed. At this moment, a strange thought arose in the hearts of Xian Tian and the others. They could not help but feel that they were not the ones who wanted to leave the Tianyan mansion. Instead, they were the ones who had been chased out. Xian Tian and the others felt very aggrieved when this strange thought appeared. They felt like they could only suffer in silence. However, since they had already spoken, they naturally could not continue to shamelessly stay in the Tianyan mansion. More importantly, there were still a few transcendent realm experts outside the Tianyan mansion. They had no choice but to flee. When he saw the figures of Xian Tian and the others vanish, Mo Qingyun wasn't willing to hesitate any longer. He said to Qi Lian, who was beside him, come, let's go meet the guests so as to avoid making them wait for too long. With that, Mo Qingyun walked out of the Tianyan mansion to receive the people who had come to attack the Tianyan mansion. Qi Lian and the others did not hesitate when they saw Mo Qingyun walk towards the entrance of the Tianyan mansion. They hurriedly followed behind Mo Qingyun. Xian Fei and the others hesitated slightly when they saw what Mo Qingyun and the others did before following behind Mo Qingyun and the others. Seeing Xian Fei and the others' actions, Mo Qingyun revealed a satisfied expression. He was very satisfied with their performance. From the looks of it, there was no need to test Xian Fei and the others' sense of belonging to the Tianyan mansion. After a while, Mo Qingyun and the others arrived at the entrance of the Tianyan mansion. They raised their heads and looked at the sky. It's not Hanyang? Mo Qingyun frowned when he saw the people in the sky above the Tianyan mansion. He was surprised. Originally, Mo Qingyun had thought it was Hanyang and the others who had come to attack the Tianyan mansion. He had never imagined that it was not Han Yang's group's group. It was a group of people that he had never seen before. Mo Qingyun's face was cold as he looked at the people who were looking down from the sky. He questioned them. Everyone, I don't think we know each other. Don't you think you owe me an explanation for attacking the Tianyan mansion with such a large force? Lad, this is the young Lord of the Sky, Feather Mountain, Nangong Xiefeng. Chen Xian's face darkened when he heard Mo Qingyun's question. He introduced Nangong Xiefeng and said, not long ago, there was a lad called Mo Qingyun in your mansion who kidnapped our young lord's maidservants. If you know what's good for you, hand over Mo Qingyun and the maidservants immediately. We can spare the rest of your lives. So it's because of Hong Fun and the others. Mo Qingyun's expression changed slightly when he heard Chen Xian's words. He understood the purpose of these people's visit. Mo Qingyun stopped talking nonsense with them after he understood their identity. He said with a mocking smile, so you're from the sky, Feather Mountain. Since you've taken the initiative to deliver yourself to me, I won't have to go through the trouble. Lad, you want to keep all of us here? Nangong Xiefeng was shocked when he heard Mo Qingyun's words. He thought he had misheard. The Tianyan mansion, which did not even have a half-step divine power realm expert, wanted to keep all of them here. This was simply a joke. Young Lord Nangong, this lad is so scared that he can't even speak. He actually said that he wants to keep all of us here. This lad probably doesn't know that our branch leader Chen Xian and Elder Yun Heng are both divine power realm experts. You've overestimated this lad. How could a country bumpkin like him have the chance to meet a divine power realm expert? For a moment, the people behind Nangong Yu all had mocking expressions on their faces as they spoke disdainfully to Mo Qingyun. While Mo Qingyun was confronting Nangong Xiefeng and the rest, Xin Ao and the rest left the Tianyan mansion. Xin Ao and the rest were not far away from the Tianyan mansion. They silently observed the situation. Brother Xian Tian, do you think Mo Qingyun can stop these invaders? Do you think that Heaven Star border cultivators can make up for a divine power realm expert's attack with numbers? Of course not. It would seem like that kid, Mo Qingyun, is dead for sure. An arrogant lad. He thinks that he's invincible just because he has 100 Heaven Star border cultivators by his side. What a joke. In my opinion, Mo Qingyun might not even have seen a divine power realm expert before. How could he be as powerful as one? All of a sudden, Xian Tian and the rest were filled with disdain as they spoke disdainfully. Xin Ao and the rest shook their heads when they heard what Xian Tian and the rest said. The disappointment on their faces deepened. At this point, Xian Tian and the rest still did not understand. They were like rotten wood that could not be carved. At this moment, Xian Tian and the rest were filled with arrogance. Qi Lian, follow me out for a battle. Your cultivation should have recovered to the divine power realm. Mo Qingyun had a faint smile on his face as he instructed Qi Lian before walking out of the Heavenly Flame Mansion. Yes, young lord. Qi Lian immediately became excited when he heard Mo Qingyun's words. He followed Mo Qingyun out of the mansion. Mo Qingyun's meaning was obvious. He was indirectly telling Qi Lian that he would kill the 3 divine power realm experts later so that he could refine their corpses to raise his cultivation. Qingyun, there are 3 divine power realm experts on the other side. It's too dangerous for you to go out like this. Xianing immediately became nervous when he saw Mo Qingyun's actions. He quickly tried to persuade Mo Qingyun. Haha, Elder Xianing, don't worry. They're just a few divine power realm experts. They're nothing to worry about. Mo Qingyun smiled faintly when he heard Xian Ying's words. He did not look worried at all. Mo Qingyun and Qi Lian walked out of the formation and arrived outside the Tianyan mansion. Nangong Xiefeng and the rest were shocked when they saw Mo Qingyun and Qi Lian walk out. They were surprised by Mo Qingyun's actions. In his opinion, Mo Qingyun should be hiding in the Tianyan mansion like a coward when they attack. Chapter 758. Xin Ao and the others, who were hiding not far from the Tianyan manor, were also shocked when they saw Mo Qingyun and Xian Tian leave the Tianyan manor. Mo Qingyun isn't hiding in the Tianyan manor? Is he coming out to die? So what if he's hiding in the Tianyan manor? Can't they break through the Tianyan manor's formation with 3 divine ability experts? That's true. With 3 divine ability experts attacking at the same time, the Tianyan manor's formation is indeed useless. From the looks of it, Mo Qingyun is dead for sure this time. I'm sure his expression before he dies will be quite interesting. At that moment, Xian Tian and the others all sneered as a faint sense of satisfaction rose in their hearts. In their opinion, Mo Qingyun being killed by Nangong Xiefeng and the others could be considered as venting their anger. With their status as princes and marquises of the great Xian dynasty, they had been humiliated again and again in the small Tianyan manor. This wasn't something they could easily accept. Qingyun actually left the Tianyan manor. Looks like he plans to let the demonic beast expert attack. I wonder which monster expert will be able to fend off the combined attack of 3 divine tier experts. Even if he can't defeat the 3 of them, it shouldn't be difficult to defeat them. After all, the demonic beast expert, is at the peak of the second level of the divine ability. At that moment, Xin Ao and the others all had nervous expressions as they lamented. Because they had seen the savage beast attack before, Xin Ao and the others had different thoughts from Xin Tian and the others. Right now, while everyone was focused on Mo Qingyun, Nangong Xiefeng smiled coldly. Nangong Xiefeng revealed a sinister smile. He looked at Mo Qingyun with a playful expression and sneered, "Brat, since you've come out to die, this young master will fulfill your wish." "Die? That's just your subjective opinion. I don't think so." Mo Qingyun shook his head with a faint smile when he heard Nangong Xiefeng's words. He replied, "You did not flee before I left the Tianyin Manor. That was your greatest mistake. Since that's the case, all of you can stay behind." Shameless boasting. Are these heavenly dipper realm trash from your Tianyin mansion worthy of making us stay? Seeing that Mo Qingyun was still as stubborn as before, Nangong Xiefeng's expression darkened. He said to Chun Xian, "Division Leader Chun, immediately capture this brat. Remember, I want to capture him alive. I want to see if he can still be as stubborn as he is now." "Yes, young lord." Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Chun Xian immediately nodded and raised his hand to grab Mo Qingyun. Suddenly, a huge figure with a dignified appearance appeared above Chun Xian. As soon as this dignified figure appeared, he raised his huge palm and grabbed at Mo Qingyun and Qilian. He wanted to grab them in his hands. The figure that Chun Xian had just released was the signature move of a transcendent realm elite, the transcendent treasure elephant. Oomph. You haven't even condensed your transcendent treasure elephant, yet you dare to take it out and embarrass yourself. Seeing Chun Xian's transcendent treasure elephant, Mo Qingyun showed a disdainful expression and said contemptuously. He then said to Savage Beast, "Savage Beast, kill this person for me." As soon as Mo Qingyun finished speaking, he summoned Savage Beast from the Heixian Palace and got it to deal with Chun Xian. "Yes, young lord." As soon as Savage Beast was summoned by Mo Qingyun, it responded respectfully and raised its hand to slap Chun Xian. Following Savage Beast's powerful attack, a terrifying wave of Yuan Li immediately exploded from Savage Beast's huge palm. The demonic beast elite had attacked. Seeing Savage Beast attack, Xin Ao's expression tensed up and he couldn't help but clench his fists. He really wanted to know if Savage Beast could still defeat Chun Xian, who was a transcendent realm level 2. Bang! As soon as Savage Beast's palm collided with the transcendent treasure elephant's palm, there was a loud bang and a terrifying Yuan Li storm erupted. "Young lord, retreat quickly." Seeing the formation of the Yuan Li storm, Yun Hang and the rest immediately panicked and said nervously as they escorted Nangong Xiefeng to retreat quickly. Crack, crack, crack. At the same time, Chun Xian's palm of the heavenly power, the precious elephant palm, cracked rapidly with a series of criss-cracks. Spurt. As the transcendent treasure elephant's palm shattered, Chun Xian's face turned pale and he spat out a mouthful of blood. "Branch Leader Chun, how are you?" Seeing Chun Xian's reaction, Nangong Xiefeng and the rest were shocked and asked Chun Xian. They really didn't expect Chun Xian, who was at Transcendent Realm Level 2, to be injured in one blow. This scene was simply too shocking. It had greatly exceeded their expectations. Didn't this mean that there was a Transcendent Realm Level 2 expert in the small Tianyin mansion? As soon as this thought appeared in Nangong Xiefeng and the rest's minds, they felt that it was ridiculous and they couldn't believe it. There's an expert in the Tianyin mansion. Hearing Nangong Xiefeng and the rest question, Chun Xian's expression turned grave as he said solemnly, "If I'm not wrong, the person who attacked earlier should be at half-transcendent realm level 3. He's not someone we can deal with." A half-transcendent realm level 3 expert. Hearing Chun Xian's words, Nangong Xiefeng and the others were shocked. They were quite shocked by his words. If Chun Xian was not injured, they would definitely think that he was joking with them. A half-transcendent realm level 3 expert could be considered a tyrant even in the province. They had never thought that there would be such an existence in the small Tianyin mansion. This was just too unbelievable. Young Lord, with such an expert guarding the Tianyin mansion, were probably going to return empty-handed this time. After exchanging blows with Savage Beast, Chun Xian was extremely fearful of Savage Beast's strength and was unwilling to accept this outcome. Nangong Xiefeng's face sank when he heard Chun Xian's words. He knew that they were probably going to return empty-handed this time. This time, he had miscalculated. Nangong Xiefeng was unwilling to accept this outcome. He glared at Mo Qingyun fiercely and said, "Brat, I didn't think that the Tianyin mansion would have such a foundation. I've miscalculated this time. However, the next time I come, I'll definitely uproot the Tianyin mansion. Let's go." Nangong Xiefeng said coldly. He was unwilling to stay any longer. He signaled to Chun Xian and the others before turning around to leave. "You want to leave?" Chapter 759. Brat, I admit that I underestimated the Tianyin Manor's strength, but you can't stop us if we want to leave. Hearing Mo Qingyun's arrogant words, Nangong Xiefeng's expression darkened as he spoke in a slightly angry tone. In Nangong Xiefeng's opinion, he was already very displeased that he had not been able to kill Mo Qingyun and take his maidservants away from the Tianyin mansion. But now, a brat in the Pill Palace realm dared to offend him again and again. He couldn't take it anymore. At this moment, if it wasn't for the fact that he was apprehensive of the Savage Beast's strength, he would have charged forward and chopped Mo Qingyun into pieces, skinning him alive and pulling out his tendons. "Brat, the next time I come to the Tianyin Manor, I'll skin you and cut you into pieces." Nangong Xiefeng's expression darkened as he glared at Mo Qingyun. Then, he turned around and left unwillingly. The people who came to invade the Tianyin Manor retreated. Xian Tian and the others were shocked when they saw Nangong Xiefeng and the others' actions. They thought their eyes were playing tricks on them. Did I see wrongly? The people who came to invade the Tianyin Manor retreated? How? How is this possible? There were 3 divine power realm experts among them. How could they be repelled with such terrifying fighting power? Could it be that there's a divine power realm level 3 expert in the Tianyin Manor? How could a small Tianyin Manor have such an expert? At that moment, Xian Tian and the others were shocked as disbelief rose in their hearts. In a short moment, just now, they had thought of many possibilities in their hearts, but they had never thought of such an outcome. Those people really retreated. Looks like I've underestimated the strength of the demonic beast expert beside Qingyun. Xian Ao was also shocked when he saw Nangong Xiefeng and the others retreating. He couldn't help but sigh in his heart. Although he knew that the savage beast was very strong and should be able to withstand the combined attack of the 3 transcendent realm experts, it was still out of his expectations that the savage beast would be able to repel them so easily. At this moment, Xian Ao and the others were shocked. "I can't stop you." Mo Qingyun smiled mockingly when he saw that Nangong Xiefeng and the others were about to leave. He said coldly, "If that's the case, watch how I'll make all of you stay." After saying that, Mo Qingyun said to Savage Beast and He Xian, "Savage Beast, stop that Divine Power Realm Level 2 expert. Senior He Xian, I'll have to trouble you to kill the other 2 Divine Power Realm experts." After Mo Qingyun's words, he opened Xian Ao to come out. Yes, young lord." He Xian and the Savage Beast responded. Without any hesitation, they immediately attacked Chun Xian and the other 2. Roar! The Savage Beast opened its mouth wide and let out a roar. Its body slowly straightened up and violently struck out with its paw. As the Savage Beast's beast paw slapped out, a terrifying yuan power erupted from within. It transformed into a gigantic beast paw that blotted out the sky and viciously slapped towards Chun Xian. At this moment, He Xian didn't stay idle when Savage Beast attacked Chun Xian. He quickly stretched out his hands and clenched them. When He Xian stretched out his hands, a huge black figure appeared above him, exuding an astonishing aura of savagery. It was He Xian's Divine Power Treasure Elephant. As soon as the Divine Power Treasure Elephant appeared, It raised its mountain-like paw and grabbed at the other two Divine Power Realm experts. The Divine Power Treasure Elephant's attack was extremely fast. In the blink of an eye, it was in front of the two Divine Power Realm experts. Divine Power Realm, 4th level. Sensing the aura emitted from He Xian, the two Level 1 Transcendent Powers cultivators instantly revealed a look of intense fear. With their cultivation, it was impossible for them to fight against He Xian. They couldn't even resist, let alone fight back. Then, the two of them looked horrified as they were caught by He Xian's Divine Power Treasure Elephant. They couldn't escape from its grasp. An expert at the 4th level of the Transcendent Realm, young master, retreat quickly. Chun Xian reminded Nangong Xiefeng with a panicked expression when he saw the two Level 1 Divine Power experts being taken down by He Xian. However, before Chun Xian could finish his words, he saw a huge paw slamming down on him. Divine Power Realm, 3rd level. Sensing the terrifying aura from the beast's paw, Chun Xian's expression immediately twitched. A bitter feeling rose in his heart. He couldn't imagine how a small Tianyan mansion could have such a powerful existence. At that moment, Chun Xian couldn't help but feel that even if the leader of the Sky Feather Mountain sect were here, he would probably die here today. This time, he had kicked an iron plate and offended someone he shouldn't have. Branch Leader Chun, please help me hold him back for a moment. I'll definitely thank you when we return to the Sky Feather Mountain sect. Seeing that the situation was not right, Nangong Xiefeng panicked and immediately turned around to run for his life. As for the life and death of Chun Xian and the rest, he immediately threw it to the back of his mind. To Nangong Xiefeng, the most important thing was to protect his own life. He couldn't care less about the life and death of Chun Xian and the rest. I've said that none of you will be able to leave today. You'd better stay here obediently. Without waiting for Nangong Xiefeng to get up and run, a cold voice rang in his ears. Then, Nangong Xiefeng saw a figure holding a heavenly halberd, blocking his way with a cold expression. The figure blocking Nangong Xiefeng's path was naturally Mo Qingyun, who had fused with Qi Lian. In action, Sky, concealing finger. After saying this coldly to Nangong Xiefeng, Mo Qingyun didn't hesitate and directly pointed at Nangong Xiefeng. Then, an obscure and terrifying aura flashed from Mo Qingyun's ring finger and shot towards Nangong Xiefeng. After shooting a finger at Nangong Xiefeng, Mo Qingyun didn't stop and slashed his halberd at Nangong Xiefeng again. Mo Qingyun slashed out with his halberd, and a shocking flame exploded from the scorching flame halberd. It turned into a fire dragon halberd light and shot towards Nangong Xiefeng. Your cultivation. Sensing Mo Qingyun's aura, Nangong Xiefeng's face immediately twitched, and he was extremely shocked. Mo Qingyun's cultivation had actually reached the 8th level of Heaven Dipper Realm. Not long ago, he could clearly sense that Mo Qingyun's cultivation was only at the 8th level of the Pill Palace Realm. In the blink of an eye, Mo Qingyun's cultivation had broken through to the next level. This scene was too abnormal. However, after a short moment of panic, Nangong Xiefeng didn't hesitate and quickly blocked the fire dragon halberd light. Bang! However, although Nangong Xiefeng managed to block the fire dragon halberd light, an even more terrifying finger force hit his body. Puff! After being hit by the finger force, Nangong Xiefeng was immediately sent flying. Blood spurted out of his mouth and his aura weakened. You'd better stay here obediently. Chapter 760. Soon, Mo Qingyun arrived in front of Nangong Xiefeng and placed the scorching flame halberd on his neck. Kid, you can't kill me. My father is Nangong Yu, and he's a level 4 divine power expert. Feeling the coldness of the halberd blade on his neck, Nangong Xiefeng immediately revealed a terrified expression and uttered a panicked sentence. Nangong Yu. Mo Qingyun frowned when he heard Nangong Xiefeng's words. He was surprised. He was surprised that Nangong Xiefeng was Nangong Yu's son. He clearly remembered that Xianshan had told him that the reason the rolling curtain peak had become an inferior peak was mainly because of Nangongyu. Now that Nangongyu's son had fallen into his hands, it could be said that enemies often crossed paths. As such, Mo Qingyan naturally could not let Nangong Xiefeng go. After a short moment of surprise, Mo Qingyun smiled playfully and said to Nangong Xiefeng, "So you're Nangongyu's son. However, I'm afraid you'll be disappointed if you want to use Nangongyu's name to scare me. Brat, don't go too far. Although your Tianyan Manor has an expert of the 4th level of the divine power, my Skyfeather Mountain has 2 experts of the 4th level of the divine power." Nangong Xiefeng's expression darkened when he saw that Mo Qingyun was still not intimidated even after using Nangongyu's name. He said again, "If you dare to touch a single hair on my head, my father and Uncle Feng will come together. They'll definitely wipe out your Tianyan mansion." "Shut up." Mo Qingyun became impatient when he saw Nangongyu's behavior. He waved the scorching flame halberd and slapped Nangong Xiefeng's face. "Ha!" Nangong Xiefeng's words were interrupted when he was slapped by the scorching flame halberd. His face became red and swollen. Mo Qingyun smacked Nangong Xiefeng with his scorching flame battle halberd. He had a disdainful look on his face as he said coldly to Nangong Xiefeng, "I don't mind telling you this. It's fine if Nangongyu doesn't come to the Heavenly Flame Mansion. However, if he dares to come to the Heavenly Flame Mansion, I don't mind keeping him here." At this point, Mo Qingyun revealed a playful smile. He looked at Nangong Xiefeng and said, "That's right. If the people of the Profound Ice Palace find out that he is hiding in the Sky Feather Mountain, it will not be long before the Sky Feather Mountain becomes very lively." Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Nangong Xiefeng's face twitched. His eyes were filled with fear. He clearly knew that the people of the Profound Ice Palace hated Nangongyu to the bone. If they knew where Nangongyu was hiding, they would go crazy and sweep the Sky Feather Mountain. At that time, Nangongyu would not be able to save him. Nangongyu would not even be able to take care of himself. Seeing that Nangong Xiefeng had obediently shut his mouth, Mo Qingyun no longer paid any attention to him. He began to ponder. Back then, because of Nangongyu, the rolling curtain peak had not recovered for so many years. They were almost removed from the Profound Ice Palace. It would be a good choice to hand Nangong Xiefeng over to them. After thinking about this, Mo Qingyun no longer hesitated. He held the scorching flame battle halberd and stabbed it toward Nangong Xiefeng's dantian. Puchi. Faced with Mo Qingyun's sudden attack, Nangong Xiefeng's dantian was destroyed by Mo Qingyun before he could react. As his dantian was destroyed by Mo Qingyun, Nangong Xiefeng's aura began to weaken rapidly. Seeing Mo Qingyun's actions, Nangong Xiefeng was shocked. He looked at Mo Qingyun with hatred. Mo Qingyun had actually crippled his dantian, reducing him to a cripple from now on. Mo Qingyun did not care about Nangong Xiefeng's anger. He coldly grabbed him and brought him to the Tianyan mansion like he was carrying a chick. In Mo Qingyun's opinion, it was better to destroy Nangong Xiefeng's cultivation first to prevent any unforeseen events from happening. After all, Nangong Xiefeng was in the Heaven Star Border Stage 5. His strength was not to be underestimated. Bang, bang, bang. While Mo Qingyun was destroying Nangong Xiefeng, the battle between He Xian and Savage Beast was coming to an end. Facing He Xian and Savage Beast's attacks, Chun Xian and the other Heaven Star Border Realm experts were all killed on the spot. Because of this, Nangong Xiefeng was the only one left who was struggling at death's door. Young Lord, Chun Xian, and the rest corpses are all in this Chinquin bag. After Savage Beast and He Xian killed Chun Xian and the rest, they collected their corpses and passed them to Mo Qingyun. After receiving the Chinquin bag from Savage Beast, Mo Qingyun turned to look at Qi Lian. He passed the Chinquin bag to Qi Lian and said, "Qi Lian, you can cultivate in He Xian's palace for the next few days." "Yes, young lord." Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Qi Lian immediately became excited. He took the Chinquin bag that contained Chun Xian and the rest corpses. Qilian was very clear about the meaning of Mo Qingyun's words. Mo Qingyun was telling him to enter He Xian's palace to refine Qin Xian and the rest corpses. After that, Mo Qingyun opened He Xian's palace and sent Qilian in to cultivate. Little guy, since the matter is settled, I'll return to He Xian's palace. After Qilian entered He Xian's palace, He Xian instructed Mo Qingyun and followed him into He Xian's palace. At this moment, while Mo Qingyun and the rest were talking, Xian Ao and the rest were shocked. They were petrified on the spot. In just a few breaths of time, 3 Transcendent Realm experts and more than 10 Heaven Dipper Realm experts were killed just like that. This scene was simply too frightening. All dead. The 3 Transcendent Realm experts are all dead. How? How is this possible? How could the Tianyin Manor have such experts? We seem to have made a wrong decision. The Tianyin Manor is a force that isn't weaker than the mysterious Ice Palace. If we could enter the Tianyin Manor to cultivate, our future achievements would definitely be great. Now, it seems like we don't have the chance. At this moment, Xian Tian and the rest were filled with regret. At the same time, Xian Tian and the rest felt a burning sensation on their faces. It was as if they had been ruthlessly slapped. Didn't they say that Mo Qingyun and the rest were definitely going to die? But now, not only were Mo Qingyun and the rest not dead, but they had also killed Qin Xian and the rest in a domineering manner. This outcome was really ironic. Now, it seemed like the one who had thought himself infallible wasn't Mo Qingyun, but the rest of them. I didn't expect that there would be a 4th-level Transcendent Realm expert hiding beside Qingyun. This is really unbelievable. Seeing He Xian's overbearing attitude just now, Xian Ao's heart was in turmoil. He couldn't help but sigh. Now I really can't see through Qingyun. How many secrets is he hiding? Chapter 761. Bang! When he arrived in front of Xian Ao and the others, Mo Qingyun threw Nangong Xiefeng to the ground. Qingyun, what are you doing? Upon seeing Mo Qingyun's actions, Xian Ao asked Mo Qingyun with a puzzled expression. At that moment, Xian Ao was very puzzled. Nangong Xiefeng had led his men to invade the Tianyin mansion. Why had Mo Qingyun thrown him in front of him? Upon seeing Xian Ao's puzzled expression, Mo Qingyun smiled faintly and explained, Ancestral Master Xian Ao, this person is Nangong Yu's son. I think it would be more appropriate to hand him over to you to deal with. Nangong Yu's son? Upon learning of Nangong Xiefeng's identity from Mo Qingyun, Xian Ao was immediately shocked. His expression darkened as he looked at Nangong Xiefeng. Rolling Curtain Peak was the ancestral business of the Xian family. It was related to the continuation of the Xian family. Back then, Nangong Yu's action of eliminating dissidents had almost caused the end of the Xian family's bloodline. This hatred was absolutely irreconcilable. Now that Xian Ao saw Nangong Yu's son appear before him, how could he not be furious? Qingyun, thank you. However, while Xian Ao was furious, he did not forget to thank Mo Qingyun. In Xian Ao's opinion, given Nangong Xiefeng's behavior, Mo Qingyun had every reason to kill him directly. However, Mo Qingyun did not do so. Mo Qingyun didn't do that. Instead, he handed Nangong Xiefeng to him so that he could kill Nangong Xiefeng to vent his anger. Ancestral Master Xian Ao, there's no need for thanks between us. Upon hearing Xian Ao's words of gratitude, Mo Qingyun waved his hand with a faint smile and said, Besides, I'm a disciple of Rolling Curtain Peak. It's my duty to capture an enemy on behalf of Rolling Curtain Peak. Upon hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Xian Ao revealed a gratified expression and sighed. Rolling Curtain Peak is really fortunate to have a disciple like you. After saying this, Xian Ao's expression became serious. He glanced at Xian Tian and the others beside him and said, Qingyun, I'm going to bring Nangong Xiefeng back to Rolling Curtain Peak. I'm afraid I can't bring Xian Tian and the others with me. I wonder if you can take them in shelter. Upon hearing Xian Ao's words, Xian Tian and the others immediately became nervous. They looked at Mo Qingyun expectantly. Now that they had seen how powerful the Tianyan manner was, their thoughts were completely different from before. At this moment, they all felt a strong sense of anticipation. They hoped they could cultivate in the Tianyan manner like Xian Fei and the others. Not only that, but Xian Tian and the others were also wondering if Mo Qingyun would give them cultivation resources if they stayed in the Tianyan mansion. Since ancestral master Xian Ao has spoken, then let them stay in the Tianyan manor for now. Upon hearing Xian Ao's request, Mo Qingyun pondered for a moment before nodding and agreeing to Xian Ao's request. Xian Tian and the others immediately became excited when they heard that Mo Qingyun was willing to take them in. They were overjoyed. Mo Qingyun was willing to accept them in the Tianyan manor. In other words, they would be able to enjoy the cultivation resources Mo Qingyun provided just like Xian Fei and the others. At this moment, if one looked closely, they would be able to see a trace of arrogance in Xian Tian and the others' faces. Perhaps in their opinion, Mo Qingyun was willing to accept them again because they possessed extraordinary talent, which was why he had changed his mind. Xian Ao shook his head inwardly when he saw how Xian Tian and the others behaved. The disappointment in his eyes became even heavier. They were unable to discern the hidden meaning in Mo Qingyun's words. But with Xian Ao's intelligence, how could he not be able to discern the hidden meaning in Mo Qingyun's words? Currently, Mo Qingyun was not accepting Xian Tian and the others in the Tianyan manor when he said he would let them stay in the Tianyan manor. This was indirectly saying that Mo Qingyun still did not accept Xian Tian and the others. He was only taking them in temporarily. Once Xian Ao finished dealing with his matters and returned from the rolling curtain peak, he would chase Xian Tian and the others out of the Tianyan manor. However, although Xian Ao understood what Mo Qingyun was implying, he did not point it out. In that case, I'll leave Xian Tian and the others to you. After understanding what Mo Qingyun meant, Xian Ao said to Mo Qingyun, once I bring Nangong Xiefeng back to the rolling curtain peak and deal with his matters, I'll immediately come to the Tianyan manor. All right, Mo Qingyun nodded. After that, Xian Ao and Mo Qingyun conversed for a while before leaving with Nangong Xiefeng. Let's return to the Tianyan manor. Seeing that Xian Ao and the others had left with Nangong Xiefeng, Mo Qingyun did not want to stay any longer. He left some instructions to Xian Tian and the others before riding Savage Beast back to the Tianyan manor. Xian Tian and the others revealed expressions of reverence when they saw Mo Qingyun riding on the back of the Savage Beast. Their eyes were filled with worship. After seeing how domineering Savage Beast was earlier, they already knew that Savage Beast was a transcendent demonic beast expert. A transcendent demonic beast expert had actually become Mo Qingyun's mount. How amazing was that? Mo Qingyun was not in the mood to care about what Xian Tian and the others were thinking. In his opinion, after Xian Ao returned from the rolling curtain peak, he would chase Xian Tian and the others out of the Tianyan manor. From then on, he would have no more interactions with Xian Tian and the others. In that case, why should he care about what Xian Tian and the others thought? After a while, Mo Qingyun brought Xian Tian and the others back to the Tianyan manor. Brother Xian Tian, why have you all returned? Xian Fei and the others were shocked to see Mo Qingyun bring Xian Tian and the others into the Tianyan manor. They were very surprised to see Xian Tian and the others. What? You're the only one allowed to stay in the Tianyan manor? We're not allowed to come. That's right. No matter what, we're from the same sect as senior brother Mo Qingyun. Why can't he take us in? Although the 6 of you have tried to please senior brother Mo, we won't lose to you in the future. Hearing what Xian Fei and the others said, Xian Tian and the others looked at them with disdain and ridiculed them. In their opinion, Xian Fei and the others had decided to stay in the Tianyan manor and were willing to live and die with the Tianyan manor because they were trying to suck up to Mo Qingyun. They might have known long ago that there was a transcendent 4th-level powerhouse in the Tianyan manor. After all, Xian Fei had interacted with Mo Qingyun before. Brother Xian Tian, Xian Fei, and the others looked aggrieved when they heard what Xian Tian and the others said. They wanted to explain themselves. Xian Fei, you don't have to explain. I understand what you're thinking. Chapter 762. Help me entertain the guests. Xian Fei and the others were stunned when they heard Mo Qingyun's words. Then they were pleasantly surprised. They naturally understood the hidden meaning in Mo Qingyun's words. Mo Qingyun was indirectly telling them that they were now the masters of Tianyan Mansion, while Xian Tian and the others were temporary guests. In this way, their weight in Mo Qingyun's heart was in stark contrast to Xian Tian and the others. Yes, senior brother Mo, we will definitely entertain Xian Tian and the others on your behalf. Xian Fei and the others' grievances were immediately swept away when they heard Mo Qingyun's words. They promised Mo Qingyun excitedly. Compared to Xian Fei and the others' excitement, Xian Ao and the others were clearly much more disappointed. However, after a brief moment of disappointment, Xian Tian and the others revealed looks of jealousy as they turned to look at Xian Fei and the others. Xian Tian and the others' reactions did not escape Mo Qingyun's notice. Mo Qingyun frowned slightly when he saw this. He said to Tang Zhan, who was beside him, Tang Zhan, you and Xian Fei will entertain Elder Xianing and the others for me for the next few days. Xian Fei, if you have anything you don't understand, you can ask Tang Zhan at any time. You can also ask him for help if you encounter any trouble. After instructing Tang Zhan, Mo Qingyun did not forget to remind Xian Fei and the others so that they would have a backbone. Mo Qingyun had made this arrangement mainly because he was worried that Xian Tian and the others would deliberately make things difficult for Xian Fei and the others out of jealousy. Furthermore, Xian Fei and the others had just arrived in Tianyan Mansion and did not understand many things. Hence, they needed someone to guide them. Tang Zhan had been by Mo Qingyun's side for many years and could be considered half a manager in Tianyan Mansion. He was the most suitable person to lead Xian Fei and the others. After instructing Tang Zhan and the others, Mo Qingyun frowned slightly. He pondered for a moment and said, Tang Zhan, Elder Xianing and the others have many people. It will be inconvenient for them to stay in the main mansion of Tianyan Mansion. Bring them to the side mansion for the time being. Yes, young lord. Tang Zhan responded respectfully when he heard Mo Qingyun's instructions. He raised his hand and said to Elder Xianing and the others, Elder Xianing, please follow me. Seeing that everything had been arranged properly, Mo Qingyun didn't stay any longer. He got up and returned to his residence. Xian Ice Palace, Xian Mountain. At this moment, a terrifying aura's aura, Xianing, and Xian. Not only that, but there was also a surge of black yuan qi in the cave, forming a picture that looked like a flowing river. This image that resembled a flowing river was the Nine Bends Yellow Springs image that had a certain probability of condensing after consuming the Nine Bends spirit-breaking pill. Who would have thought that the people in the cave could condense such a powerful Nine Bend star-breaking pill? Seeing the activity in the cave, the people waiting outside the cave all revealed pleasantly surprised smiles. The people guarding outside the cave were none other than Ling Shan, and the others. Breakthrough. Young sect master Hun Yang's cultivation has finally broken through to the Heaven Star Realm. It's not as simple as breaking through to the Heaven Star Realm. Judging from the current situation, young sect master Hun Yang might have condensed the Nine Bends Yellow Springs picture. Young sect master Hun Yang is really a peerless genius. Not only did he break through to the Heaven Star Realm with a Nine Bends star-breaking pill, he even condensed the Nine Bends Yellow Springs picture. You should call him Palace Master now. Now that sect master Hun Yang has come out of seclusion, he will replace Ling Kai's position. Yes. If you didn't mention it, I would have forgotten. Ancestor Ling Yihong has already appointed Hun Yang as the new Palace Master. Seeing the situation in the cave, Ling Shan and the others smiled. A strong sense of pride rose in their hearts. Now, it seemed that things were progressing according to their plan, step by step. Next, as long as Hun Yang came out of seclusion and completed the succession ceremony, they could seek revenge on Mo Qingyun. After a while Ling Shan and the others were waiting, Hun Yang walked out of the cave in high spirits. "I'm Hun Yang. Greetings, elders and grand elders." Hun Yang walked to the front of the crowd and bowed to them humbly. Then he said to Ling Shan, "Thank you, Elder Ling Shan, for giving me the elixir that allowed me to successfully break through to the Heaven Star border realm and condense the 9 bins Yellow Springs painting." No need to be so polite. Seeing Hun Yang's humble expression, Ling Shan smiled with relief. He waved his hand at Hun Yang and said, "Sect Master Hun Yang, it's your own talent that allowed you to break through to the Heaven Star realm and condense the 9 bins Yellow Springs picture. It has nothing to do with me." "Sect Master." Hearing Ling Shan's address, Hun Yang was puzzled. He looked at Ling Shan and the others in confusion. "Sect Master Hun Yang, I'm afraid you don't know. While you were in seclusion, Ancestor Ling Yihong had appointed you as the new palace master of the mysterious Ice Palace. Now we're waiting for you to come out of seclusion and carry out the succession ceremony of the mysterious Ice Palace's palace master to replace Ling Kai. Ling Kai has been occupying the palace master's position for so long and has been mediocre. He should have abdicated long ago. If it wasn't for Ling Kai's indecisiveness, how could he have let Mo Qingyun leave the mysterious Ice Palace? For a moment, Yulong Chan and the others were displeased. They were dissatisfied with Ling Kai's decision. "Don't stand here anymore." Looking at the people standing in front of him, Ling Shan smiled faintly and suggested, "Let's find a place to sit down and discuss the succession of Hun Yang, as well as the arrangements to deal with Mo Qingyun." Due to Ling Shan's special identity, he had become the leader of Hun Yang and the others. He was guiding Hun Yang and the others' actions. After hearing Ling Shan's words, Hun Yang and the others no longer hesitated and agreed to Ling Shan's suggestion. Right now, Hun Yang and the others were colluding with each other to discuss the timing of how to deal with Mo Qingyun. Pa pa pa. In a stone room in the sky, Feather Mountain, the sound of jade shattering could be heard. From within, a cloud of dust exploded. Soul Jade slips have shattered. A divine power realm branch leader and elder have been killed. Seeing the situation in the stone room, the young man guarding the room immediately revealed a panicked expression and said, "I have to report this to the Mountain Lord and the others immediately." Sky Feather Mountain Conference Hall. Congratulations, Brother Feng, for breaking through to the peak of Divine Power Realm Level 4. The middle-aged man at the top of the conference hall revealed a sinister smile as he congratulated the purple-haired man at the bottom of the hall. Congratulations to Brother Nangong for breaking through to the late stage of Divine Power Realm Level 4. Hearing the middle-aged man's words, the purple-haired man smiled faintly and replied, "These two were the 2 Divine Power Realm Level 4 leads of the Sky Feather Mountain, Nangong Yu and Feng Moyen. Mountain Lore, this is bad. A branch leader and elder's soul jade slips have shattered." At this moment, while Nangong Yu and Feng Moyen were talking, a young man rushed into the conference hall with a panicked expression. The broken soul jade slips mean that a Divine Power Realm branch leader and elder have died. Chapter 763. Within the Tianyin Manor, Mo Qingyun made arrangements for Xian Fei and the others before making his way to where Hong Fun and the others stayed. "Greetings, young lord." Hong Fun and the others were respectful when they saw Mo Qingyun arrive. They hurriedly bowed to Mo Qingyun. "There's no need to be so courteous." Mo Qingyun waved his hand with a smile when he saw their actions. He took out a Cosmos sack and passed it to Hong Fun. He said, "Hong Fun, there are some cultivation resources in there. Distribute them to everyone later." "Yes, young lord." Hearing Mo Qingyun's instructions, Hong Fun revealed a respectful expression and took the Qinquan bag from Mo Qingyun's hands. "From today onwards, Hong Fun is your elder sister. You must listen to her for everything you do." Mo Qingyun said sternly after handing the Cosmos sack to Hong Fun. He warned the girls, "If anyone disobeys me, I will chase her out of the Tianyin Manor. She will never be accepted into the Tianyin Manor again. Do you understand?" "Yes, young lord." Hong Fun and the others immediately became respectful when they heard Mo Qingyun's instructions. They hurriedly nodded at Mo Qingyun in response. In their opinion, if they were chased out of the Tianyin Manor by Mo Qingyun, the punishment would be even crueler than killing them. They had developed a strong sense of belonging to the Tianyin Manor after living there for a few days. They treated it as their home. Just what kind of feeling would it be to be chased out of one's home by force? Mo Qingyun nodded in satisfaction when he saw the girls' reactions. He knew he had achieved the effect he wanted. Afterward, Mo Qingyun said a few more things to Hong Fun and the others before leaving their residences. After leaving Hong Fun and the others' residences, Mo Qingyun returned to his courtyard. He planned to enter secluded cultivation to increase his cultivation. After a while, Mo Qingyun returned to his room. With a flash, he entered the five-directional tower. As soon as he entered the five-directional tower, Mo Qingyun no longer hesitated. He sat down with his legs crossed and prepared to comprehend the might of the five elements. However, the following scene immediately caused Mo Qingyun to be extremely shocked in his heart. At that moment, Mo Qingyun discovered to his shock that countless specks of light that contained the power of the five elements revolved around him. These specks of light contain the profundity of fire. These specks of light contain the might of the wood. Also, these specks of light contain the might of the origin of water. That specks of light actually contain the power of the laws of fire. All sorts of light spots containing the power of the five elements appeared clearly before Mo Qingyun's eyes. How? How is this? Why can I suddenly eye of the five elements is this? Looking at the abnormal scene in front of him, Mo Qingyun's face was filled with doubt and confusion. A strong sense of shock rose in his heart. This scene was too abnormal. Only the power of the five elements exists in the five-directional tower. If I were outside, would I be able to sense other powers? As soon as this thought arose in his mind, Mo Qingyun could not wait any longer. With a flash, he left the five-directional tower. After exiting the five-directional tower, Mo Qingyun released his soul power to sense the various powers around him. Under Mo Qingyun's sensing, specks of light that contained various powers immediately appeared before his eyes. Compared to the power of the five elements in the five-directional tower, the power contained in the specks of light outside was undoubtedly much weaker. As the environment outside was different from the five-directional tower, Mo Qingyun could sense more powers in the outside world. As expected, I can't sense them. After discovering this, Mo Qingyun immediately frowned. He was even more puzzled in his heart as he guessed, I didn't have this ability before. Now that I can suddenly sense the existence of these powers, could it be that my mental state cultivation has risen to a level that surpasses the sovereign stage? In Mo Qingyun's opinion, this was the only reason that could explain this abnormal situation. Forget it. Let's not think too much about it. After thinking hard for a while, Mo Qing stopped thinking about it and said with a faint smile, although this scene is a bit inconceivable, it doesn't seem to be a bad thing for me. In this way, it seems that it will be much easier for me to comprehend the various forces of heaven and earth. Immediately, Mo Qingyun no longer hesitated and entered the five-directional tower. Devouring Gate. As soon as Mo Qingyun entered the five-directional tower, he released the Devouring Gate and devoured the specks of light that contained powers in the surroundings. Now, Mo Qingyun could clearly sense the specks of light that contained powers in the surroundings. Without a doubt, the efficiency of his cultivation had increased by a lot. Afterwards, as the Devouring Gate continuously devoured and converted the specks of light, Mo Qingyun's comprehension of powers rapidly increased. Time passed bit by bit as Mo Qingyun cultivated. Young Lord, I've broken through to the divine ability realm. After who knew how long, Qi Lian's voice roused Mo Qingyun from his cultivation. You've already broken through to the divine ability realm? Mo Qingyun opened his eyes in surprise and joy when he received Qi Lian's message. He was rather surprised by Qi Lian's rate of improvement. As a result, the Tianyan Manor now had 3 transcendent powerhouses. My powers of water and earth have reached perfection, and my powers of metal have reached the 7th layer. After being slightly surprised by Qi Lian's cultivation speed, Mo Qingyun also sensed the results of his cultivation. He smiled in satisfaction. With the assistance of this method of sensing various powers, my cultivation speed has indeed increased by a lot. Like this, it won't be long before my powers of the 5 elements reach perfection. After a brief moment of surprise, Mo Qingyun no longer hesitated and left the 5-directional tower with a single movement. After emerging from the 5-directional tower, Mo Qingyun did not hesitate at all. He immediately moved Qi Lian out of the Heixian Hall. Quasi-Divine Ability Level 2. Mo Qingyun was slightly surprised when he sensed Qi Lian's presence. He was rather surprised by Qi Lian's cultivation speed. Originally, he had thought that Qi Lian's cultivation would reach the late 1st layer of the Divine Ability Realm after refining the corpses of Chun Xian and the others. He did not expect Qi Lian's cultivation to directly reach the 2nd layer of the Divine Ability Realm after refining their corpses. This truly surprised Mo Qingyun. From the looks of it, if I let Qi Lian refine the corpse of another Divine Ability Realm expert, his cultivation will reach the 2nd layer of the Divine Ability Realm. Mo Qingyun pondered for a moment before a look of anticipation appeared on his face. He said nonchalantly, "If that's the case, I'll kill Han Yang and the others when they invade my Tianyan mansion. I should be able to raise Qi Lian's cultivation base to the 2nd level of the divine power." Chapter 764. Young Lord, I have something to report. As Mo Qingyun and Qi Lian were conversing, Tang Zhan's voice sounded from outside the room. Oh! Mo Qingyun's expression changed slightly when he heard that. He waved his hand and opened the door. After that, Tang Zhan walked in with a solemn expression and reported, "Young master, earlier, Xian Fei and the others got into an argument with Xian Tian's group. In the end, Xian Tian's group attacked and heavily injured Xiao Jun and Li Zheng. Xian Fei and the others also suffered minor injuries." Oof. As expected, a dog can't change its spots. Looks like I've been too good to them, and they've lost their sense of priority. Mo Qingyun's face darkened when he heard Tang Zhan's words. He spoke with displeasure and asked Tang Zhan, "Where is Xian Fei and the others now? Take me to see their injuries first." "Yes." Tang Zhan nodded and immediately led the way. He brought Mo Qingyun to see Xian Fei and the others. Before long, Mo Qingyun arrived at the residence of Xian Fei and the others under Tang Zhan's lead. At this moment, Mo Qingyun was surprised when he approached the courtyard of Xian Fei and the others. Clamor sounded from nearby. "Xiao Jun, you useless piece of trash. So what if you receive Senior Brother Mo's guidance? You're still unable to withstand a single blow. Li Zheng, you're just a servant of the Xian clan. You actually dare to ride on our heads. If it wasn't for Senior Brother Mo, I would have directly crippled you. Imperial Sister Xian Fei, I advise you to keep your distance from them. Don't associate yourself with these pieces of trash." In an instant, numerous complacent and arrogant words entered Mo Qingyun's ears. At this moment, the people who spoke were naturally Xian Tian and the others. Mo Qingyun's face immediately darkened when he heard the words of Xian Tian and the others. The rage in his heart grew even stronger. Xian Tian and the others were actually so arrogant. They'd charged into the residence of Xian Fei and the others and caused trouble. This was already disregarding the rules of the Tianyan mansion. This was not something Mo Qingyun could tolerate. At the same time, Mo Qingyun's impression of Xian Tian and the others worsened again. Mo, Senior Brother Mo. When Xian Tian and the others saw Mo Qingyun approaching them, their faces twitched as they revealed a strong sense of reverence. Thump, thump, thump. Then, Xian Tian and the rest retreated to the side like mice that saw a cat. They opened up a path for Mo Qingyun. They could be arrogant in front of Xian Fei and the others, but in front of Mo Qingyun, they could only behave with their tails between their legs. There was no helping it. Mo Qingyun was just too awesome. He was someone who could even tame a transcendent realm demon beast as a mount. This was not something they could offend. All of you can leave. If there's nothing important, don't wander around the Tianyin Manor. Mo Qingyun glanced at Xian Tian and the others with disgust. He looked impatient and waved his hand at them. Originally, with the actions of Xian Tian and the others, it was impossible for Mo Qingyun to let them off easily. However, considering that they were the juniors of Xian Ao and the others, and that they were in the Tianyin Manor, they would have to leave in a few days. Therefore, Mo Qingyun could not be bothered with them and did not attack them directly. Of course, this did not mean that Mo Qingyun planned to let them off so easily. Yes. We'll leave right now. Xian Tian and the others immediately became nervous when they heard Mo Qingyun's words. They left the courtyard with their tails between their legs. When Mo Qingyun saw that Xian Tian and the others had left, he ignored them and walked toward Xian Fei and the others' house. Xian Fei, the young lord is here to see you, Tang Zhan said to Xian Fei and the others with a cold expression when he arrived in front of their house. Creak! When Xian Fei and the others heard Tang Zhan's words, they opened the door and walked toward Mo Qingyun. Senior brother Mo. When Xian Fei and the others saw Mo Qingyun, they bowed respectfully to Mo Qingyun. At this moment, Mo Qingyun could clearly see the anger and fear on Xiao Jun and the others' faces. There was even some shame in their eyes. Let's go in first. After glancing at Xian Fei and the others, Mo Qingyun nodded at them and walked into the house. With this simple glance, Mo Qingyun immediately knew the injuries of Xiao Jun and Xian Fei like the back of his hand. Judging from Xiao Jun and Xian Fei's weak auras, their dantians must have been shaken, causing their cultivation to become unstable. If they did not repair their dantians immediately, there might be serious repercussions that would cause their cultivation to stagnate. After discovering this, the anger in Mo Qingyun's heart immediately intensified. When Xiao Jun and the others had stayed behind and were willing to live and die with the Tianyin Manor, Mo Qingyun had already treated them as part of the Tianyin Manor. Now that they had been heavily injured, how could Mo Qingyun just sit by and watch? Senior brother Mo, it's all because we're too useless. Please punish us. When Xiao Jun and Li Zheng saw Mo Qingyun sitting above them, they felt guilty. They hurriedly knelt before Mo Qingyun and begged for punishment. Mo Qingyun's expression was cold when he saw Li Zheng and Xian Fei's actions. He looked at them and said coldly, "If this is all you've got, then don't stay in the Tianyin Manor from today onwards. My Tianyin Manor doesn't take in weak trash." Li Zheng and the others immediately trembled when they heard Mo Qingyun's words. Their faces paled. Mo Qingyun glanced at them when he saw their expressions. He said, "A single failure is not enough to determine whether you're a hero or not. It doesn't matter if you've lost to Xian Tian and the others this time. You just have to work hard and cultivate so that you can avenge him." But when they heard Mo Qingyun's words, the shame on Xiao Jun's and Xiao Qing's faces immediately became even greater. They said, but my Cosmos bag was also taken away by Xian Tian and the others. In this way, it will probably be even more difficult to surpass them. Your Cosmos sack was taken away as well? Mo Qingyun's expression turned even colder when he heard this. He said coldly, "Xian Tian, the two of you are really bold. You actually dared to snatch the cultivation resources that I, Mo Qingyun, bestowed upon you. It seems like I have no choice but to punish the two of you." A chill rose in Mo Qingyun's heart. He looked at Xian Fei and the others with a solemn expression and said, "I was indeed negligent this time. Xian Tian and the others are arrogant and unruly. I'm sorry to have asked them to entertain them." Mo Qingyun sighed. He paused for a moment before he continued. "The two of you should concentrate on your cultivation. There's no need to bother about Xian Tian and the others. In a few days, you can find them to avenge you. Yes, senior brother Mo. Xian Fei and the others wore a solemn expression when they heard Mo Qingyun's instructions. They quickly nodded at Mo Qingyun in response. Now, do you want to resist? I'll bring you to a place to cultivate. Chapter 765. A moment later, in Xian's hall, Xian Fei and the others were shocked when they saw Mo Qingyun pull them into Xian's hall. They looked around with wide eyes. Their reactions were almost exactly the same as when Han Luo and the others entered the five-directional small pagoda. Where's this place? Why are there so many cultivation rooms here? Senior brother Mo brought us here. Could it be that he wants us to cultivate in these cultivation rooms? Senior brother Mo has put in so much effort. Once my injuries recover, I will definitely take revenge on Xian Tian and the others and wipe away my humiliation. Looking at the cultivation rooms in front of them, Xian Fei and the others revealed shocked expressions and uttered words of astonishment. These cultivation rooms are set up with 15x time shifting formations. Cultivating for 15 days inside is equivalent to cultivating for a day in the outside world. While Xian Fei and the others were still in shock, Mo Qingyun came to their side and began to explain. Cultivating for 15 days inside was equivalent to cultivating for a day in the outside world. Xian Fei and the others were shocked when they heard Mo Qingyun's words. They were shocked by Mo Qingyun's words. Of course, at the same time that Xian Fei and the others were shocked, they were also extremely excited. Under the 15x time shifting formations, as long as they were willing to cultivate diligently, they would definitely be able to find Xian Tian and the others to wipe away their humiliation. At this moment, they finally understood the true meaning behind Mo Qingyun's words when he told them to concentrate on their cultivation. It turned out that the key to Mo Qingyun's words were these cultivation rooms with time-shifting formations. While Xian Fei and the others were shocked, Mo Qingyun looked at Xiao Jun and Li Zheng. He said in a deep voice, "Xiao Jun, Li Zheng, sit down. Let me take a look at your injuries." "Yes, senior brother Mo." Xiao Jun and Li Zheng immediately sat down when they heard Mo Qingyun's order. They allowed Mo Qingyun to check their injuries. Afterwards, Mo Qingyun raised his right hand and used it to examine the injuries of Xiao Jun and Xiao Yu so that he could heal their injuries. Cracks have indeed appeared on the outer shell of my dantian. Fortunately, it hasn't collapsed yet. Otherwise, I would really be helpless. After checking for a while, Mo Qingyun withdrew his right hand, and his furrowed brows relaxed a little. Senior apprentice brother Mo, are our injuries serious? Seeing Mo Qingyun's expression, Xiao Jun and the other man revealed nervous expressions and hurriedly asked Mo Qingyun, "Don't worry, your dantian was only shaken. It didn't cause too much damage." Hearing Xiao Jun's question, Mo Qingyun gave them a comforting smile, indicating that they did not need to worry. Hearing Mo Qingyun say this, Xiao Jun and Li Zheng's expressions immediately relaxed, and their tightly knitted brows relaxed. Since their dantian had not been truly damaged, it would not affect their future cultivation. This could be considered a great blessing. Otherwise, if Xian Tian and the others were to make a move and cause their dantians to collapse, it would affect their future cultivation. That would truly be troublesome. Xiao Jun, Li Zheng, calm your minds now. I'm going to heal your damaged dantian. At this moment, just as Xiao Jun and Li Zheng relaxed, Mo Qingyun said to the two of them with a solemn expression, "Yes." Xiao Jun immediately nodded and began to calm his mind. Seeing this, Mo Qingyun raised his hands and slapped toward Xiao Jun and Li Zheng's dantian. Afterwards, a strand of pure life force radiated from Mo Qingyun's hands, and it began to heal Xiao Jun and Li Zheng's dantian. As their dantian was healed, the complexions of Xiao Jun and Li Zheng's faces gradually improved. After this discovery, the tense expressions of Xian Fei and the other three also relax a lot. It seemed that under Mo Qingyun's treatment, Xiao Jun and Li Zheng's injuries had already begun to recover. After about 15 minutes, Mo Qingyun withdrew his hands and said to Xiao Jun and Li Zheng in a deep voice, "I've already used my life force to heal the cracks around your dantian. However, the other injuries on your bodies will have to be healed by yourselves. Many thanks for Senior Brother Mo's help. Leave the rest to us." Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Xiao Jun and Li Zheng immediately revealed a grateful expression and thanked Mo Qingyun. Yes. In response to Xiao Jun and Li Zheng's gratitude, Mo Qingyun nodded indifferently. His gaze swept across Xian Fei and the others, and he said, "The few of you can go and cultivate first. I'll go and refine a strand of elixir. After that, I'll help you break through to the Pill Palace realm." Break through to the Pill Palace realm. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Xian Fei and the others were shocked. They were once again shocked by Mo Qingyun's words. Among the 6 of them, Xian Fei, who had the highest cultivation, was only at the peak of Yuan Dan Stage 8. The peak of Yuan Dan Stage 8 was still quite a distance away from the Pill Palace realm. However, Mo Qingyun actually said that he would help them break through to the Pill Palace realm. This was simply too shocking. Didn't this mean that Mo Qingyun intended to refine a type of elixir that could help them break through to the Pill Palace realm? Creation Divine Abode Elixir. After a brief moment of shock, a type of elixir appeared in the minds of Xian Fei and the others. The Creation Divine Abode Elixir was a legendary and powerful elixir. If a high-level Yuan Dan stage cultivator consumed it, there was a 70% chance of breaking through to the Pill Palace realm. Moreover, the closer one's cultivation was to the Pill Palace realm, the higher the chance of breaking through to the Pill Palace realm. After a brief moment of shock, Xian Fei and the others looked at Mo Qingyun with even more respect. At this moment, the same thought appeared in their minds. That was, as long as they followed Mo Qingyun, their results in the future would not be low. Chapter 766. Compared to the peace in the Tianyan mansion, the mysterious ice palace was much more lively. All the peak masters and elders had gathered on the mysterious ice peak. Their gazes were focused on a three-eyed young man. This three-eyed young man was Han Yang, who had broken through to the Heaven Star realm not long ago. At this moment, he was undergoing the Palace Master succession ceremony to succeed the position of Palace Master of the mysterious Ice Palace. This is the last segment of the Palace Master succession ceremony. Let's invite the new Palace Master to offer incense to the founder. Seeing that Han Yang had completed the first segment, Ling Shan smiled solemnly and announced to Han Yang. Hearing Ling Shan's words, Han Yang picked up 3 sandalwood incense sticks and bowed respectfully to the statue above the cauldron. The incense sticks have been offered. The Palace Master succession ceremony is complete. Seeing that Han Yang had inserted the incense sticks into the cauldron, Ling Shan's expression was solemn as he announced again. Subsequently, Ling Shan revealed a proud and cold smile. He looked at Ling Kai and said proudly, "Grand Elder Ling Kai, the succession ceremony for Palace Master Han Yang has been completed. Please pass the Palace Master's keepsake to him." Even the Emperor isn't anxious. Why are you so anxious? Hearing Ling Shan's words, Ling Kai showed an expression of displeasure and coldly snorted in response. "You." Hearing Ling Kai's words, Ling Shan was enraged. He wanted to reprimand Ling Kai. This Ling Kai actually dared to indirectly call him a eunuch in front of everyone. This was really too hateful. However, when he thought of the current situation, Ling Shan suppressed the anger in his heart. No matter what, this was Han Yang's Palace Master succession ceremony. He could not let this affect Han Yang's Palace Master succession ceremony. Seeing that Ling Shan had shut his mouth, Ling Kai ignored him and walked toward Han Yang. "Greetings, father-in-law." Han Yang looked at Ling Kai and bowed humbly. He promised Ling Kai, "Father-in-law, After the palace master succession ceremony is over, I will bring people to destroy Mo Qingyun and snatch Ling Er from him. Snatch it? Hearing Hun Yang's words, a wave of disdain rose in Ling Kai's heart, and the way he looked at him changed. Hun Yang had secretly colluded with Ling Shan and the others to impeach him in front of Ling Zhua, causing him to lose his position as the palace master. With Ling Kai's intelligence, how could he not see that Hun Yang was a complete ingrate? At this moment, Hun Yang's actions were not inferior to Nan Gongyu's. Immediately, Ling Kai began to compare Hun Yang with Mo Qingyun. After a round of comparison, Ling Kai suddenly realized that Mo Qingyun seemed to be much better than Hun Yang in all other aspects except for his arrogance. At the very least, Mo Qingyun would not be as treacherous and hypocritical as Hun Yang. At the very least, Mo Qingyun would enter a dragon's lair, charge into a tiger's den, and kill people in a fit of anger for the sake of his family and friends. From the looks of it, it was indeed a mistake for me to let Ling Er marry Hun Yang. Fortunately, Mo Qingyun appeared and stopped me. At this moment, Ling Kai's heart was filled with regret and relief. He felt that he had been too blind before. He had actually been deceived by someone like Hun Yang. If Mo Qingyun had not appeared in time, Mo Ling's current situation would have been worrisome. Grand Elder Ling Kai, everyone is waiting for you. Why don't you quickly hand over the palace master's keepsake to Hun Yang? Seeing that Ling Kai was standing in front of Hun Yang in silence, Ling Shan's face revealed an impatient expression as he urged Ling Kai. Grand Elder Ling Shan, did you forget what I said just now? Hearing Ling Shan's words, Ling Kai's face revealed a displeased expression as he asked Ling Shan a question in return. Hearing Ling Kai's words, Ling Shan's face immediately darkened. His face twitched in anger. This Ling Kai was truly too despicable. He actually used hidden words to hurt people and indirectly called Ling Shan a eunuch. Hun Yang, I will now hand over the palace master's keepsake to you. I hope that you will be able to lead the profound ice palace to glory in the future. Ling Kai did not pay attention to Ling Shan's expression. He raised his hand and took out a sparkling and translucent longsword, handing it to Hun Yang as he instructed. The profound ice palace has just gone through a great calamity. It is not good to start a war with others right now. I hope that after you become the palace master, you will not cause trouble for the profound ice palace because of your personal feelings. Yes, I will remember father-in-law's teachings. Hearing Ling Kai's words, Hun Yang humbly nodded as a trace of disdain appeared in his eyes. It was obvious that he did not take Ling Kai's words to heart. His current actions were only half-hearted. Naturally, Hun Yang's actions did not escape Ling Kai's observation. Seeing this, Ling Kai's disappointment towards Hun Yang immediately became even stronger. From the looks of it, Hun Yang's actions were already known to everyone. However, Ling Kai did not say much to Hun Yang. Now that he was the palace master of the profound ice palace, it would not be good for him to use his status to interfere. Of course, the reason why Ling Kai did not say much was because he knew that no matter how much he said, Hun Yang would only pretend to comply but oppose him in secret. After handing the palace master's keepsake to Hun Yang, Ling Kai turned to the side and returned to his chair, sitting down. Palace Master Hun Yang, you have just succeeded the position of Palace Master. I'm sure you have a lot to say, right? Seeing Hun Yang take the Palace Master's keepsake from Ling Kai, Ling Shan immediately revealed a cold smile and gave Hun Yang a look. Seeing Ling Shan's action, Hun Yang immediately nodded and said with a humble expression, First of all, I am very grateful for Ancestor Ling Zhu's favor for appointing me as the Palace Master of the Profound Ice Palace. However, I, Hun Yang, am still young and have limited experience. In the future, I hope that the peak masters and elders will give me more guidance. Hearing Hun Yang's humble words, the peak masters and elders of the surrounding peaks immediately nodded with admiration. Palace Master Hun Yang, you have become the Palace Master of the Profound Ice Palace at such a young age. This shows that you are young and promising. There is no need to belittle yourself. That's right. I believe that Ancestor Ling's vision will not be wrong. Under your leadership, the profound Ice Palace will definitely be glorious. Palace Master Han Yang, please rest assured. In the future, we will definitely serve you faithfully. Hearing Han Yang's words, the elders of the various peaks immediately expressed their attitudes. It's true that a new emperor brings in new ministers. Seeing everyone's reaction, Ling Kai could not help but sigh in his heart. He thought to himself, I didn't expect that these people would start to fawn on Han Yang as soon as I stepped down. Thank you for your support, Peak Masters and Elders. Han Yang will definitely work hard to develop the profound Ice Palace. Han Yang's face was filled with gratitude when he saw everyone's reaction. He then bowed to everyone. Chapter 767. As soon as Han Yang finished speaking, he revealed a cold expression and turned his head to look at Zhuan Zhenzi and the others below. Seeing Han Yang's actions, everyone's expressions immediately changed and became tense. Han Yang was going to make an example out of the rolling curtain peak. He planned to make an example out of them and let everyone know that if they did not submit to him, they would be wiped out. Everyone was shocked by Han Yang's actions at this moment. They never thought that Han Yang, who had just taken over the position of Palace Master, would be so bold and decisive to eliminate those who opposed him. Then, the crowd began to whisper to each other. It seems that Palace Master Han Yang is not as kind as he appears to be. His methods are much more ruthless than Palace Master Ling Kai. That's right. I'm afraid that we'll have to be more careful in our actions from now on. All right, let's not talk about it anymore. Be careful that the walls have ears, and you'll suffer an undeserved calamity. All of a sudden, the peak masters and elders of the surrounding peaks were on high alert. At this moment, when the peak masters and elders were all in a state of panic, they could not help but sigh. I'm afraid that it won't be easy for Palace Master Han Yang to deal with Mo Qingyun. Mo Qingyun is protected by a quasi-god tier 3 powerhouse. Even if Mo Qingyun is protected by a quasi-god tier 3 powerhouse, Palace Master Han Yang can't back down. After all, his fiancée was taken away by Mo Qingyun. That's right. Palace Master Han Yang's fiancée was taken away by Mo Qingyun. If he still doesn't do anything, won't he be laughed at by the other sex? When everyone heard Han Yang's words, they were all shocked and sighed in their hearts. At this moment, while everyone was shocked by Han Yang's actions, Ling Kai's expression immediately became tense. He said to Han Yang in a deep voice, Han Yang, you can't do this. Mo Qingyun has a quasi-god tier 3 powerhouse by his side. It's not wise to rashly attack him. It might bring great trouble to the mysterious Ice Palace. Ling Kai paused and said, also, Rolling Curtain Peak did not participate in Mo Qingyun's matter. If you take your anger out on them, I'm afraid that the other peaks will be bitterly disappointed and the entire mysterious Ice Palace will become anxious. At this moment, the expressions of the peak masters and elders of the surrounding peak changed. From the looks of it, Ling Kai's words had directly hit the nail on the head. Great Elder Ling Kai, please pay attention to how you address him. Seeing Ling Kai's actions, Ling Shan sneered and scolded Ling Kai. Also, Great Elder Ling Kai, you don't need to teach the Palace Master how to do things. Oof. A bunch of ignorant and treacherous people. Hearing Ling Shan's words, Ling Kai's face was filled with disgust. He said disdainfully, if you continue to bewitch Han Yang like this, sooner or later, you will bring disaster to the mysterious Ice Palace. Ling Kai, please pay attention to your status. Since you speak so rudely to the Palace Master, I will punish you according to the palace's rules. Seeing Ling Kai's actions, Ling Shan's face immediately darkened, and he said something sinister. Palace Master Ling Kai, thank you for upholding justice for the Rolling Curtain Peak. Seeing Ling Kai's actions, Zhuan Zhenzi's face was filled with gratitude. He thanked Ling Kai and said, however, if you want to condemn someone, you can always find a pretext. If Han Yang wants to deal with us, even if I had 100 mouths, I wouldn't be able to defend myself. Hearing Zhuan Zhenzi's words, Ling Kai sighed helplessly in his heart. He also knew that he had lost his power in the mysterious Ice Palace. Humph. I'd like to see what you will do to the mysterious Ice Palace. Ling Kai angrily glared at Ling Shan and the others. He waved his sleeves and left the place. This Ling Kai is really arrogant. Does he still think that he is the palace master? Seeing Ling Kai's actions, Ling Shan's face immediately darkened, and he angrily said something unhappy. Grand Elder Ling Shan and Grand Elder Ling Kai's actions are also because they are concerned about the future of the mysterious Ice Palace. It is understandable. Seeing Ling Shan's actions, Hun Yang showed a profound expression and said to Ling Shan, "Now, let's first deal with the people of the Rolling Curtain Peak. Then, we will discuss how to deal with the traitor Mo Qinyan." "Palace Master, you are wise." Hearing Hun Yang's words, Ling Shan pretended to be impressed and cupped his hands. His acting was so perfect that it could pass off as genuine. "Oomph. If you want to deal with us, then do it. Since we dared to stay, then we should be prepared for the worst." Seeing the actions of Hun Yang and the others, Zhuan Zinzi showed a proud expression and said disdainfully. He glanced at the people around him and said, "I think that the peak masters here are very clear about the ins and outs of this matter. If you want to kill us, be careful not to disappoint everyone." Hearing Zhuan Zinzi's words, the expressions of the people around him immediately changed. They could not help but think of Ling Kai's words. At this moment, the peak masters and elders of the Mystic Ice Palace had unknowingly developed some disloyalty towards the Mystic Ice Palace. That's right. Just because the Rolling Curtain Peak had a disciple like Mo Qinyan, it was too cruel to wipe out the people of the Rolling Curtain Peak. More importantly, the Rolling Curtain Peak did not participate in the matter of Mo Qinyan taking Mo Ling away. This was even more inexcusable. Seeing the changes in the expressions of the people around him, Hun Yang's expression immediately became uncertain. He quickly thought of a way to deal with this situation. The current situation was really out of his expectations. Originally, he thought that once Zhuan Zinzi and the others were angered, they would definitely fight back. At that time, they could logically kill Zhuan Zinzi and the others without any hesitation and cut off one of Mo Qinyan's arms in the mysterious Ice Palace. However, Zhuan Zinzi and the others now looked as if they were facing death calmly and were ready to be slaughtered by Hun Yang. In this way, Hun Yang's hands were tied. If he really killed Zhuan Zinzi and the others, he would definitely be used as an excuse by others. This result was not what Hun Yang wanted to see. After a moment of thought, Hun Yang showed a gloomy expression. He looked at Zhuan Zinzi and the others and said, "Elder Zhuan Zinzi, I just want to imprison you and then find out the truth and prove your innocence. Are you so agitated now because you have a guilty conscience?" Oomph. When Zhuan Zinzi heard this, he snorted coldly and turned his head away, ignoring Hun Yang and the others. Seeing this, Hun Yang's expression immediately darkened. He gritted his teeth and said coldly, "Grand Elder Ling Shan, Elder Yu Ling Shan, immediately imprison the people of Rolling Curtain Peak in the dungeon of Mysterious Ice Peak. When I find out the truth, I will naturally prove their innocence." When they heard Hun Yang's order, Ling Shan and Grand Elder Yu Ling Shan no longer hesitated. They sneered and said to Zhuan Zinzi, "Elder Zhuan Zinzi, please leave." Oomph. When Zhuan Zinzi and the others heard this, they snorted coldly and left with Ling Shan and the others. "Now, I announce that in 3 days, we will depart to capture the traitor Mo Qinyan." When he saw Zhuan Zinzi and the others walking away, Hun Yang's expression was gloomy as he said this to the crowd. When they heard Hun Yang's words, the surrounding peak masters and elders' expressions immediately changed. They secretly sighed at how stubborn Hun Yang was. In this way, they were afraid that he would really bring disaster to the mysterious Ice Palace, just like Ling Kai. Chapter 768. While the mysterious Ice Palace was in a state of panic because of Mo Qinyan, the Sky Feather Mountain was busy as well. In the meeting hall of the Sky Feather Mountain. At this moment, a hunchbacked old man walked in hurriedly with a solemn expression on his face. "Elder Tao, what's the progress of the investigation?" Nan Gongyu, who was sitting at the top of the hall, asked with a cold expression when he saw the hunchbacked old man enter. "Reporting to Mountain Master, we found out everything that happened." Upon hearing Nan Gongyu's question, the hunchbacked old man explained to Nan Gongyu with a solemn expression. "A few days ago, young Lord Xiefeng went to the Great Xian Dynasty's branch. The Great Xian Dynasty's branch found some beauties for him. Unexpectedly, those beauties were kidnapped by a force in the Great Yin Dynasty called the Heavenly Flame Mansion when they were brought back to the branch. After that, young Lord Xiefeng went to the Heavenly Flame Mansion with Elder Chun and the others from the branch. When Elder Tao said this, his face revealed a difficult expression. He didn't know how to continue. Seeing Elder Tao's troubled expression and silence, Nan Gongyu's expression immediately tensed up. He hurriedly asked, "What happened after that? Could it be that branch leader Chun and the others were killed by the Heavenly Flame Mansion?" "Yes." Elder Tao nodded at Nan Gongyu with a solemn expression when he saw that Nan Gongyu had guessed the outcome. Crack, crack, crack. When Elder Tao nodded, Nan Gongyu exerted force in his hand and crushed the armrest of his chair. When Nan Gongyu was furious and crushed the armrest, he became nervous again and asked, "Feng, I went to the Heavenly Flame Mansion with Branch Leader Chun and the others. If Branch Leader Chun and the others were killed by the Heavenly Flame Mansion, then Feng?" Although Nan Gongyu was a 4th-level divine power expert, he could not help but feel nervous when it came to Nan Gong Xiefeng's life and death. "Don't worry, Mountain Master. According to our sources, the young lord should still be alive." Upon seeing Nan Gongyu's expression, Elder Tao immediately comforted Nan Gongyu and said, "However, it seems that the young lord has been brought back to the mysterious Ice Palace." "Mystic Ice Palace?" Hearing Elder Tao's words, Nan Gongyu's expression turned grave, and a strong sense of worry appeared on his face. The enmity between him and the profound Ice Palace could be said to be irreconcilable. Now that Nan Gong Xiefeng had fallen into the hands of the profound Ice Palace, one could imagine his fate. Nan Gongyu pondered for a moment before a guessing expression appeared on his face. He guessed, could it be that the Heavenly Flame Mansion is a secret faction that the mysterious Ice Palace has planted in the Great Yin Dynasty? That's very possible. At this moment, Feng Maya nodded and said in a deep voice, "The Great Yin Empire and the mysterious Ice Palace are close to each other. It is not impossible for the mysterious Ice Palace to plant a spy here. Mountain Master, since the Heavenly Flame Mansion is a subsidiary faction of the mysterious Ice Palace, and they have killed Branch Leader Chun and the others, should we eliminate them?" At this moment, Elder Tao, who was standing in the middle of the hall, asked with an inquiring expression. "No, let's go to the mysterious Ice Palace first." Upon hearing Elder Tao's question, Nan Gongyu revealed a cold expression and said, "Since the Heavenly Flame Mansion is a subsidiary faction of the mysterious Ice Palace, they won't be able to escape in a short time. There's no need to be in a hurry to eliminate them. The most important thing now is to go to the mysterious Ice Palace and rescue Feng Er." At this point, Nan Gongyu's expression turned gloomy. He gritted his teeth and said, "Moreover, those fellows from the Ling clan have caused me to hide for more than 10 years. Now that they have sent people to capture Feng Er, how can I not go and settle the score with them?" "Mountain Master, you're very thoughtful. I'll go and make the arrangements now." Upon hearing Nan Gongyu's words, Elder Tao no longer hesitated and immediately stood up and walked out of the hall. Not long after, terrifying auras gathered at the Heavenly Flame Mansion. They were all Transcendent Realm experts. After a careful count, the number of Transcendent Realm experts who had arrived was actually 27. "Let's go to the mysterious Ice Palace." Seeing the arrival of the crowd, Nan Gongyu instructed them and set off for the mysterious Ice Palace. At this moment, Nan Gongyu and the others were setting off for the mysterious Ice Palace. On Mysterious Ice Palace's side, Hun Yang and the others had also set off for the Heavenly Flame Mansion. They were prepared to kill Mo Qin Yun and bring Mo Ling back. All of a sudden, two powerful storms silently swept up. In the side mansion of the Heavenly Flame Mansion. Ha! My cultivation base has broken through to the 9th level of the Yuan Dan realm. The elixir that senior brother Mo gave to Xiao Jun is really awesome. My cultivation base has broken through to the peak of the 8th level of the Yuan Dan realm. If this continues, it won't be long before my cultivation base can break through to the Pill Palace realm. Xiao Jun and Li Zheng are two pieces of trash. It's a waste to let them enjoy such elixir. It's better for me to consume it. In an instant, all kinds of excited, surprised, and disdainful words could be heard from every room. The people who said these words were naturally Xian Tian and the others. They didn't expect that after robbing Xiao Jun and the others of their Qingquan pouches, their cultivation bases would rise steadily with the help of the cultivation resources in the pouches. However, at this moment, in another part of the Heavenly Flame Mansion, there were a few people whose cultivation base rose faster than theirs. These people were none other than Xian Fei and the others who were taken into the He Xian Palace by Mo Qingyan. They cultivated with the help of the time-shifting formation. In just 5 days, the 6 of them have broken through to the Pill Palace realm. This is faster than I expected. Sensing the changes in the 6 people's auras in the cultivation room, Mo Qingyun revealed a surprised expression. Then, he nodded with satisfaction and muttered to himself. After about a day, Xian Fei and the others walked out of the cultivation room. At this time, their cultivation bases had already stabilized at the Pill Palace realm. Not only that, Xian Fei, Xiao Jun, and Li Zheng's cultivation bases had actually reached the peak of the first layer of the Pill Palace realm. As for Xian Tan, Xian Shun, and Xian Rong's cultivation bases, although they hadn't reached the peak of the first layer of the Pill Palace realm, they had reached the late stage of the first layer of the Pill Palace realm. With your current cultivation bases, it should be enough to deal with Xian Tian and the others. Seeing the improvement of Xian Fei and the others, Mo Qingyun nodded with satisfaction and said with a faint smile, "Next, take revenge for those who should. Take back what you should. As long as you don't kill anyone, I'll take care of everything else. Take revenge for those who should. As long as you don't kill anyone, I'll take care of everything else." Hearing Mo Qingyun's direct words, Xiao Jun and the others were stunned. They were quite shocked by Mo Qingyun's words. Mo Qingyun was too biased. He was too protective of his own people. Chapter 769. Yes, Senior Brother Mo. After a brief moment of shock, Xian Fei and the others were pleasantly surprised as they hurriedly nodded at Mo Qingyun. With Mo Qingyun's words, it was as if they had obtained an imperial sword. They could do whatever they wanted as long as they didn't kill anyone. "All right, I'll bring you out." After instructing Xian Fei and the others, Mo Qingyun waved his hand and sent the 6 of them out of Heixian Hall. As Xian Fei and the others returned to their rooms, their expressions became excited and their eyes revealed a trace of anticipation. They could finally get back at them. "You guys can do as you see fit. I'll head back first." Seeing the expressions of Xian Fei and the others, Mo Qingyun instructed with a faint smile before turning to walk out of the room. However, to Mo Qingyun's surprise, Xian Tian and the others just happened to be rushing over when he walked out of Xian Fei and the other's small courtyard. At this moment, Xian Tian and the others looked as though they were about to cause trouble for Xian Fei and the others. If Mo Qingyun had seen this scene before, he would definitely have asked them to leave. After all, Xian Fei and the others were no match for Xian Tian and the others. However, now, Mo Qingyun couldn't wait for them to come. This way, it would save Xian Fei and the others a lot of trouble if they wanted to take revenge. Mo. Senior brother Mo. When they saw Mo Qingyun walk out of the small courtyard, Xian Tian and the others were like mice who had seen a cat. Their faces were filled with fear. Mo Qingyun glanced at Xian Tian and the others and nodded indifferently. He asked, "You're here to look for Xian Fei and the others?" "Yes, no. We're here, too." When they heard Mo Qingyun's words, Xian Tian and the others immediately became incoherent. They didn't know how to reply to Mo Qingyun. Were they supposed to tell Mo Qingyun that they were here to teach Xian Fei and the other the lesson? If they said that, there would only be one outcome. They would be chased out of the Tianyan mansion by Mo Qingyun. Although Xian Tian and the others did not reply directly, with Mo Qingyun's intelligence, how could he not know what they were thinking? However, Mo Qingyun did not expose them. He only said to them coldly, "Concubine Xian and the others have just recovered from their injuries. It is very rare for you to come and visit them. Visit concubine Xian and the others?" Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Xian Tian and the others were stunned. Their faces were filled with shock and confusion. They weren't here to visit Xian Fei and the others. On the contrary, they were here to teach them a lesson. Of course, Xian Tian and the others didn't dare speak of such thoughts. Yes, yes, yes. After a brief moment of shock and stupefaction, Xian Tian and the others hurriedly nodded at Mo Qingyun like chickens eating rice. All right, all of you are going to be stunned here. Quickly go in and take a look at Xian Fei and the others. Looking at Xian Tian and the others who kept nodding, Mo Qingyun waved his hand at them and left the residence of Xian Fei and the others. Xian Tian and the others were shocked when they saw Mo Qingyun leave just like that. They were extremely surprised by Mo Qingyun's actions. Brother Xian Tian, Senior Brother Mo, he wants us to visit Xian Fei and the others? If that's the case, Senior Brother Mo doesn't know that we were the ones who injured Xian Fei and the others. That's impossible. Tang Zhan knows very well that we injured Xian Fei and the others. He will definitely tell Senior Brother Mo. Then why didn't Senior Brother Mo scold us? Could it be that Senior Brother Mo is already dissatisfied with Xian Fei and the others and wants to use us to teach them a lesson? That should be the case. Otherwise, Senior Brother Mo has no reason to not scold us. If that's the case, we will be following orders when we train Xiao Jun and the others. If Xian Fei and the others know that Senior Brother Mo instructed us to teach them a lesson, they will probably be very sad. After Xian Tian and the others guessed Mo Qingyun's intentions, they smiled proudly and quickly walked towards Xian Fei and the others' courtyard. At this moment, if Mo Qingyun knew what Xian Tian and the others were thinking, he would probably not know whether to laugh or cry. Xian Tian and the others actually thought that he was hinting at them to teach Xian Fei and the others a lesson. Bang! Under the foot of Xian Tian and the others, the door of the small courtyard was directly kicked open and shattered into pieces. In Xian Tian and the others' opinion, now that they had Mo Qingyun's tacit approval, there was no need for them to be secretive. Xian Tian, why are you here again? Xian Fei and the others were shocked when they saw Xian Tian and the others' sudden arrival. They were very surprised by Xian Tian and the others' appearance. They really did not expect Xian Tian and the others to deliver themselves to them before they could even look for them. In this way, it would save them some trouble. Why are we here? Xian Tian and the others were stunned when they heard Xian Fei's question. Then, a proud smile appeared on their faces. Sister Xian Fei, I don't mind telling you the truth. Senior Brother Mo instructed us to come. I'm afraid you don't know. Because of your trashy performance, Senior Apprentice Brother Mo is already very dissatisfied with you guys. That's right. You have wasted Senior Brother Mo's cultivation resources. He has already decided to let us replace you. In an instant, Xian Tian and the others sneered proudly and said self-righteous words. Senior Brother Mo asked Xian Tian and the others to teach us a lesson. Xian Fei and the others were stunned when they heard Xian Tian and the others' words. A strange feeling rose in their hearts. Mo Qingyun had just left their courtyard. Even if Xian Tian and the others were here, they would not be able to move so quickly. In that case, it was clear that Xian Tian and the others were boasting and lying. After being stunned for a moment, Xian Rong covered her mouth and laughed. She looked like she was in pain from trying to hold back her laughter. Xian Tian and the others were shocked when they saw Xian Rong's reaction. They looked at Xian Rong in confusion. Xian Rong knew that Mo Qingyun was displeased with them, but she was still laughing. Could it be that she had been scared silly? I'm sorry. I couldn't hold it in and laughed out loud. Xian Rong blushed when she saw that everyone was looking at her. She then replied shyly, "It's all right. We almost laughed out loud, too." Xian Fei and the others smiled faintly when they heard Xian Rong's words. They then voiced their thoughts. Xian Tian and the others were enraged when they saw Xian Fei and the others' reaction. Their gazes turned cold. They never thought that Xian Fei and the others would still be chatting and laughing when they saw them arrive. They were too arrogant and deserved a beating. Could it be that Xian Fei and the others have become more daring after not seeing them for a few days? I never thought that you would become so daring after not seeing you for a few days. Chapter 770. As soon as Xian Tian and the others finished their words, they released their auras, intending to attack Xian Fei and the others. You guys have broken through as well? Sensing the change in Xian Tian and the others' auras, Xian Fei and the others were shocked. They were surprised by Xian Tian and the others' cultivation. They didn't expect that other than them, Xian Tian and the others had broken through as well. Seeing the surprised expressions of Xian Fei and the others, Xian Tian and the others smiled proudly. They were satisfied with their reactions. From their point of view, Xian Fei and the others were afraid of their cultivation. This made them feel a great sense of accomplishment. What's wrong? Are you afraid now? Weren't you all laughing happily just now? I don't mind telling you that the reason why we could break through is because of the elixirs that Senior Brother Mo gave you. You useless fellows. You've been enjoying the cultivation resources that Senior Brother Mo gave you, but you haven't improved at all. What a waste of resources. Don't waste your breath on them. Let's teach them a lesson first, so that Senior Brother Mo won't be happy. After Xian Tian and the others were pleased with themselves, they didn't waste any more time talking to Xian Fei and the others. Fire Seal, Sea Breaking Palm, Meteor Dark Flame Saber, Cross Killing Slash. In an instant, Xian Tian and the others attacked fiercely towards Xian Fei and the others. You guys aren't the only ones who have broken through. Seeing Xian Tian and the others attacking them, Xian Fei and the others sneered and said coldly. Then, Xian Fei and the others didn't hesitate and attacked back. As Xian Fei and the others attacked with all their might, their Pill Palace Realm auras burst out without holding back. Pill Palace Realm auras. Sensing the auras of Xian Fei and the others, Xian Tian and the others were stunned. Their minds went blank. How could this be? Xian Fei and the others had all broken through to the Pill Palace Realm. Just a few days ago, the cultivations of Xian Fei and the others were the same as them, and they were only at the 7th and 8th level of the Origin Core stage. Now, in just a few days, Xian Fei and the others had all broken through to the Pill Palace Realm. This was too strange. After all, Xian Fei and the others' Cosmos Sacs had already been taken away by them. Without any cultivation resources, Xian Fei and the others were still able to break through to the Pill Palace Realm. This was something that Xian Tian and the others found hard to accept. Bang, bang, bang. While Xian Tian and the others were still in shock, the palm shadows, sword shadows, and saber shadows that they sent out were instantly destroyed by Xian Fei and the others. It couldn't be helped. The gap between the Dan Palace Realm and the Yuan Dan Realm was just too big. Moreover, there were 6 Pill Palace Realm experts joining forces. How could Xian Tian and the others resist them? How could this be? How did your cultivations break through to the Pill Palace Realm? Didn't we take away all your Cosmos bags? How can your cultivation increase so quickly? At that moment, Xian Tian and the others were filled with shock and confusion. They hurriedly asked Xian Fei and the others. Of course, it's because Senior Brother Mo gave us an even more awesome pill. Looking at Xian Tian and the others who were in a panic, Xian Fei and the others immediately felt great and replied proudly, "No, impossible. Senior Brother Mo wouldn't do that. He's already very dissatisfied with you guys. If Senior Brother Mo really cares about you guys, Why didn't he punish us for injuring you guys? That's right. When senior brother Mo saw us just now, he didn't mention anything about us injuring you guys. That's not right. Maybe senior brother Mo disdained to attack us and wanted Xian Fei and the others to deal with us. That's very possible. Otherwise, senior brother Mo would have asked us to leave and not let us cause any more trouble. Doesn't this mean that senior brother Mo purposely asked us to come so that Xian Fei and the others could injure us? At that moment, Xian Tian and the others were suddenly enlightened. They suddenly had an answer to their questions. It turned out that Mo Qingyun wasn't dissatisfied with Xian Fei and the others. Instead, it was Mo Qingyun who was dissatisfied with Xian Tian and the others. What was laughable was that they had thought that Mo Qingyun wanted to use them to teach Xian Fei and the others a lesson. Now, in the blink of an eye, the entire situation had turned around. This ending was really ironic. Who do you think you are? Do you think you're worthy of senior brother Mo attacking you? Xian Fei and the others revealed looks of disdain when they heard what Xian Tian and the others said. They mocked them. All right, there's no need to talk nonsense with them. Senior brother Mo said that as long as no one dies, it's fine. Meanwhile, Li Zheng revealed an impatient expression, and he urged Xian Fei and the others by his side. Then, Xian Fei and the others attacked Xian Tian and the others without hesitation. Facing Xian Fei and the others, Xian Tian and the others were like clay chickens and pottery dogs. They were beaten until they couldn't fight back at all. Several hours later, Xiao Jun and the others finally revealed a carefree smile and stopped their hands as if they hadn't had enough. At that moment, Xian Tian and the others who were lying on the ground were all swollen. Even their mothers wouldn't be able to recognize them. All of you scram. Xiao Jun revealed an impatient expression as he looked at Xian Tian and the others who were swollen, and he waved his hand at them. Xian Tian and the others revealed unwilling expressions when they saw Xiao Jun and the others stop, and they hurriedly crawled up from the ground. Xian Fei, the six of you just wait. We'll remember today's enmity. After leaving behind these harsh words, Xian Tian and the rest limped out of the small courtyard like beggars. After they left the courtyard, a young man with a swollen face asked another young man with a swollen face, "Brother Xian Tian, what should we do now?" "I'm not Brother Xian Tian. I'm Xian Chao. This is Brother Xian Tian. I'm also not Brother Xian Tian. I'm Xian Xiao. He's Brother Xian Tian." For a moment, a farce occurred. No one could recognize who the other party was. It couldn't be helped. With their current appearances, not to mention Xian Tian and the others, even their mothers wouldn't be able to recognize them. "All of you shut the F***CK up. I'm Xian Tian." Seeing the actions of the few people in front of him, a young man with an especially swollen face said furiously. For some unknown reason, Xiao Jun and the others were clearly more ruthless and attacked Xian Tian more often than the others. Furthermore, Xian Tian's face was the most swollen at this moment. It was as if he had been kicked in the face. "Brother Xian Tian, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it." Hearing Xian Tian's furious words, these young men all revealed aggrieved expressions and said with a guilty tone, It's just that with your current appearance, not to mention us, even Imperial Consort Rongqing wouldn't be able to recognize you." Hearing their words, Xian Tian's face immediately darkened. His gaze could be described as murderous. Chapter 771. Seeing Xian Tian's murderous gaze, Xian Chao and the others immediately shut their mouths and dared not continue speaking. Xian Chao and the others fell silent for a while. Xian Xiu looked nervous as he asked Xian Tian, "Brother Xian Tian, now that the Qingquan bag has been snatched back, what should we do next?" Hearing Xian Xiu's words, Xian Chao and the others immediately became displeased and began to complain. "Brother Xian Tian, since Mo Qingyun is siding with Xian Fei and the others, let's just leave the Tianyin manor." That's right. Mo Qingyun's actions clearly show that he hates us and wants to take revenge on us through Xian Fei and the others. If that's the case, we'll definitely be bullied by Xian Fei and the others if we continue to stay in the Tianyin manner. All of a sudden, Xian Xiao and the others looked displeased as they voiced their concerns. They did not intend to stay in the Tianyin manner any longer. Bunch of idiots, shut up immediately. Seeing Xian Xiao and the others' actions, Xian Tian immediately reprimanded them and said furiously, "What do you know? Do you think senior brother Mo is willing to take you in? Do you think you'll be able to return to the Dashuan dynasty alive if we leave the Tianyin manor with our cultivation?" Xian Xiao and the others immediately shut their mouths after being reprimanded by Xian Tian. They looked guilty. What they said earlier was nothing more than a moment of anger. If they were really asked to return to the Dashuan dynasty alone, they would not dare to do so. On their way to the flame capital from the Xian dynasty, they had seen many bandits blocking their way and trying to kill them to steal their belongings. The stronger ones among the bandits were at the Heaven Dipper realm. If they were to encounter such an existence, they would be dead for sure. Seeing that everyone was silent, Xian Tian calmed himself down and continued, "Have you thought about it? How did Xian Fei and the others become so powerful? Isn't it because senior brother Mo gave them a powerful elixir?" Hearing Xian Tian's words, Xian Xiao and the others' expressions immediately changed as they understood the crux of the matter. A few days ago, Xian Fei and the others were still so weak in front of them. However, in just a few days, Mo Qingyun had helped Xian Fei and the others undergo a complete transformation. This undoubtedly proved that Mo Qingyun's methods and abilities were powerful and ordinary people could not be compared to him. If Xian Fei and the others, they would be like Xian Fei and their cultivation would their cultivation soar? After thinking about it, Xian Xiao and the others' hearts filled to the brim. And the others, they were not Tian. Were Tian be Tian and the was. He was to be bees as long as they be as long as bees. A BBB to be outstanding. Bees. If Mo Qingyun was in a good mood and gave them some elixirs, their cultivation would soar. Xian Xiao and the others could not wait any longer. They hurriedly asked Xian Tian, "Brother Xian Tian, let's go look for senior brother Mo now and admit our mistakes. Let's beg him to let us stay in the Tianyin mansion." "No, it's too rash for us to look for senior brother Mo in this state," Xian Tian said coldly when he saw what Xian Xiao and the others were doing. He stopped them and said, "Senior brother Mo promised martial ancestor Xian Ao to let us stay in the Tianyin mansion for a few days. Now that martial ancestor Xian Ao has not returned, he won't chase us away immediately. It won't be too late for us to look for him after a few days." After which, Xian Tian and the rest limped back to their residences. In the next few days, the Tianyin mansion was peaceful. 5 days later, with Xian Tian and the others doing their best to recuperate, their injuries were more or less healed. When they saw that they had mostly recovered, they could no longer sit still. They planned to go to the inner mansion of the Tianyin mansion to look for Mo Qingyun. After a short while, they arrived at the entrance of the inner mansion of the Tianyin mansion. They were about to enter the inner mansion of the Tianyin mansion. The inner mansion of the Tianyin mansion is the inner mansion of the Tianyin mansion. Without the permission of the master and the young lord, no one is allowed to enter. At this moment, when Xian Tian and the others were about to enter the inner mansion, 2 figures blocked their path and said coldly. The people who blocked their path were none other than Han Luo and Han Wen, who had brought them out of the Tianyin mansion. Due to the actions of Xian Run and the others, Han Luo and Han Wen had an extremely bad impression of Xian Tian and the others. Now that Han Luo and Han Wen had seen Xian Tian and the others' actions, it would be strange if they did not treat them well. However, they did not notice the displeasure and disgust in Han Luo's eyes when he looked at Xian Tian and the others. They only wanted to see Mo Qingyun. "Senior Han Luo, so you're here. That's great." Not only that, but Xian Tian and the others were pleasantly surprised when they saw the person before them was Han Luo. They pleaded with Han Luo, "We have something important to see senior brother Mo about. Please help us pass on the message." Otherwise, you can bring us to see Senior Brother Mo directly. You want to see the young lord? Han Luo was slightly surprised when he heard Xian Tian's words. His eyes were filled with disdain and disgust. That's right. Senior Han Luo, please. Xian Tian immediately nodded in response when he heard Han Luo's question. He had a look of anticipation on his face. In their opinion, it was easier to get things done when they met someone they knew. Since Han Luo was here, it was much more convenient. Scram. However, before Xian Tian could finish his sentence, Han Luo said coldly with an impatient expression, "What kind of status does the young lord have? Do you think the few of you are qualified to see him? If the young lord did not care about the feelings of the people at the Rolling Curtain Peak, you wouldn't even be qualified to step into the Tianyan mansion. All right, all of you get lost immediately. Don't stand here and be an eyesore." Following Han Luo's words, Han Wen looked impatient and waved his hand at Xian Tian and the others. You! Xian Tian and the others' faces darkened when they saw Han Luo and Xian Tian's actions. They widened their eyes and glared at Han Luo and Xian Tian. However, before they could say anything, a terrifying aura descended on them. It made them feel as though they were in an ice cellar. Xian Tian and the others were stunned. They finally remembered that Han Luo and Xian Tian were intermediate Heavenly Star Border experts. Senior, please forgive us. We have offended you. Xian Tian and the others were terrified when they sensed the terrifying aura descending on them. They quickly apologized to Han Luo and begged for mercy. Scram. Don't bother the young lord again. Chapter 772. Yes. We'll leave right away. Xian Tian and the others did not dare to linger any longer after being scolded by Han Luo. They hurriedly left through the entrance of the Tianyan mansion. However, they did not return to the side mansion directly. Instead, they stopped nearby. Brother Xian Tian, are we going to go back just like that? Xian Xiao and the others asked Xian Tian when they saw him stop. They were unwilling to give up. Before we see Senior Brother Mo, how can we give up halfway like this? Xian Tian was determined when he heard Xian Xiao and the others' question. He continued, "We'll stay here and wait for Senior Brother Mo to come out from the inner mansion." Xian Xiao and the others' eyes lit up when they heard Xian Tian's words. They understood Xian Tian's intention. Xian Tian planned to wait at the entrance of the Tianyan mansion's inner mansion and wait for Mo Qingyun to come out from the inner mansion. At that time, as soon as Mo Qingyun came out from the inner mansion, they could go and look for Mo Qingyun directly. It seemed like it was a good idea. Subsequently, Xian Tian and the others squatted near the entrance of the inner mansion like beggars. Mo Qingyun had no idea what Xian Tian and the others were doing. He was currently cultivating in the five-direction small tower. After an unknown period of time, Mo Qingyun opened his eyes with a happy look on his face. He then withdrew from his cultivation. The gold force has reached perfection. After these days of cultivation, his power of the five elements had finally reached the perfection stage. Mo Qingyun didn't continue cultivating when he saw that the power of the five elements had reached perfection. His figure flashed and left the five-directional pagoda. Mo Qingyun then walked out of his small courtyard. He wanted to see how the situation in the Tianyan mansion was. Of course, what Mo Qingyun was most worried about was that Han Yang would bring people to attack the Tianyan mansion while he was cultivating. With Mo Qingyun's understanding of Han Yang would definitely bring people to invade the Tianyan manor. It was impossible for Han Yang to ignore him. Young Lord. Seeing Mo Qingyun walking towards them, Han Luo and the other man bowed respectfully to Mo Qingyun. No need for formalities. Mo Qingyun nodded in response to Han Luo and the other man. With a solemn expression, he asked the two of them, "Has anything happened in the manor recently?" "Young Lord, everything is normal in the mansion, but..." Han Luo spoke halfway before he raised his head to look at Xian Tian and the others. However, a few days ago, Xian Tian and the others wanted to see the young lord, but Han won and I stopped them. After that, he's been squatting not too far ahead. When Han Luo said this, he raised his finger and pointed at Xian Tian and the others who were squatting not too far away like beggars. They could clearly sense that the people who were attacking the Tianyan mansion were bigger than Nangong Xiefeng and the others. They were also stronger. With this discovery, Xian Tian and the others' determination to stay in the Tianyan mansion was shaken. Could the Tianyan mansion stop these people? Xian Tian and the others did not know. The only thing they could do now was to gamble, just like Xian Fei and the others. However, what if they lost? Xian Tian and the others hesitated when they thought of the consequences of losing. They did not know what to do. Mo Qingyun sneered when he saw the solemn expression on Xian Tian and the others' faces. He asked, "Now, do you still want to stay in the Tianyan mansion?" We. Xian Tian and the others were speechless when they heard Mo Qingyun's question. They did not know how to answer Mo Qingyun. Mo Qingyun smiled disdainfully when he saw Xian Tian and the others' reactions. He no longer paid any attention to them. Then, Mo Qingyun moved and quickly arrived at the entrance of the Tianyan mansion. He raised his head and looked at the sky above the Tianyan mansion. Then, a few familiar figures appeared in his line of sight. The leader of these people was the current palace master of the mysterious Ice Palace, Han Yang. Intermediate level 4 divine power. To Mo Qingyun's surprise, there was an old man at the intermediate level 4 divine power standing beside Han Yang. After a brief moment of surprise, Mo Qingyun smiled faintly. He looked at Han Yang and said, "Han Yang, you're finally here." Chapter 773. Mo Qingyun, you traitor of the mystic Ice Palace. Today, old ancestor Ling Zhua has personally come to the Tianyan mansion. Why don't you surrender obediently? Han Yang said coldly as he looked at Mo Qingyun in the Tianyan mansion below with a gloomy expression. Han Yang, you think too highly of yourself. You're not qualified to make me surrender. Mo Qingyun curled his lips in disdain when he heard Han Yang's overbearing words. His tone turned colder as he said, "Previously, I didn't make a move on you in the mystic Ice Palace out of respect for Palace Master Ling Kai. However, since you've delivered yourself to my doorstep, don't blame me for being ruthless." Mo Qingyun, from what you've said, it seems like you're planning to resist? Han Yang immediately revealed a disdainful expression when he heard Mo Qingyun's words. He raised his hand and pointed at Ling Zhua as he said proudly, "Mo Qingyun, I'm afraid you still don't know? Old ancestor Ling Zhua is a level 4 divine ability expert. Even if you have a level 3 divine ability expert guarding you, you'll still die today." Palace Master Han Yang, why are you speaking so much nonsense with this brat? Let this old man break the Tianyan mansion's protective array first. While Han Yang and Mo Qingyun were conversing, Yuling Chan and the others revealed a gloomy expression as they impatiently attacked the Tianyan mansion's protective array. Asterisk swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Asterisk at this moment. While Yuling Chan and the others were attacking the Tianyan mansion's protective array, several figures came to Mo Qingyun's side. Han Yang, you've actually become the palace master of the Mystic Ice Palace? Mo Qingyun was surprised when he heard how Yuling Chan and the others addressed Han Yang. He said in surprise, "It seems like those old fellows in the Mystic Ice Palace really value you." Palace Lord Han Yang's talent is extraordinary. Not only does he have a special physique, but he also has a powerful, desolate bloodline. Naturally, he will replace Ling Kai's position. Seeing Mo Qingyun's surprised expression, Ling Shan said proudly. He sneered and said, "Mo Qingyun, that day in the profound Ice Palace, if it weren't for the indecisiveness of that trash Ling Kai, you would have been a dead man." Mo Qingyun's mouth twitched in disdain when he heard Ling Shan's words. His eyes turned cold as he said, "Ling Shan, let me tell you something. If it were not for Palace Master Ling Kai, all of you would have been dead already." Mo Qingyun replied Ling Shan coldly. Then, he turned to look at Ling Zhua and said mockingly, "Old man, Appointing Hun Yang as the new palace master of the profound ice palace is the worst decision you've ever made in your life. Arrogant brat. I don't need you to tell me what to do. Ling Zhuo was enraged when he heard Mo Qingyun's rude words. He said coldly to Mo Qingyun, "Brat, ask that evil creature next to you to come out. I'll take care of it today." Faced with Ling Zhuo's sudden attack, He Xian immediately snorted coldly as he raised his hand and threw a punch at the air. Subsequently, an aura that was even more terrifying than Ling Zhuo's aura erupted from He Xian's body, forming a huge storm of aura. Peak level 4 divine power. When Ling Zhuo sensed the aura from He Xian's body, his face immediately twitched. A hint of fear could be seen in his eyes. He could clearly sense that He Xian's aura was much stronger than his. It was definitely not something he could contend with. He really did not expect that such a terrifying expert was actually hidden in the small Tianyan mansion. Who exactly was Mo Qingyun? Why was there such an expert by his side? At this moment, a myriad of thoughts and doubts arose in Ling Zhuo's mind. Currently, Mo Qingyun's performance was simply too strange. An expert at the peak of level 4 divine power. Even in the Mystic Ice Palace, there was no such expert. However, before Ling Zhuo could figure it out, He Xian had already smashed his palm and was approaching him in an overbearing manner. When Ling Zhuo saw He Xian approaching him, he revealed a terrified expression. He smiled apologetically at He Xian and said, "Friend, let's talk nicely. May I know what's your relationship with the Tianyan mansion? Why are you helping the Tianyan mansion?" At this moment, Ling Zhuo's actions were no longer as overbearing as before. He was completely a coward. "You don't have the right to know." In response to Ling Zhuo's question, He Xian replied coldly and disdainfully, "Since everyone has made a move, it's time for me to settle a grudge." Chapter 774. Soon, Mo Qingyun arrived in front of Hun Yang in a few flashes. "Hun Yang, I'll let you escape during the last grand examination. This time, you won't have the chance again." Arriving in front of Hun Yang, Mo Qingyun revealed a cold expression and said a chilling sentence. "Oomph. Mo Qingyun, you think too highly of yourself." Hun Yang snorted in disdain. A cold smile appeared on his face as he said with contempt, "With your cultivation in the 8th stage of the Dan Palace, you don't have the qualifications to say such words to me." The gap between the Dan Palace realm and the Heaven Star realm was like a chasm. It wasn't something that could be bridged with some tricks. It was understandable for Hun Yang to have such thoughts. In his opinion, even if Mo Qingyun had many tricks up his sleeve, he was still no match for him. If that's the case, I'll show you how big the gap is between the Heaven Star realm and the Dan Palace realm. After saying such a cold sentence, Hun Yang didn't waste any more words and directly attacked Mo Qingyun. Immediately after, a black spring shadow that emitted a rhythmic sound appeared above the Soul Sun. This was the Heaven Star image, the 9 Bins Yellow Springs image. 9 Bins Yellow Springs image? The Heaven Star image that Hun Yang condensed is actually the 9 Bins Yellow Springs image. Seeing the 9 Bins Yellow Springs image above Hun Yang, Mo Qingyun revealed a shocked expression. He was a little surprised by Hun Yang's current performance. However, after a short moment of shock, Mo Qingyun's expression returned to normal. Although the 9 Bins Yellow Springs image was powerful, it couldn't change Hun Yang's fate. Mo Qingyun, you didn't expect this, right? I can condense such a powerful Heaven Star image. Seeing Mo Qingyun's shocked expression, Hun Yang immediately revealed a proud smile and showed off in front of Mo Qingyun. "It's just the 9 Bins Yellow Springs diagram. What's there to brag about?" Looking at Hun Yang's smug expression, Mo Qingyun didn't take it seriously and curled his lips. His eyes revealed a trace of disdain and ridicule. If Hun Yang knew that several people in the Tianyan mansion had condensed the 9 Bins Yellow Springs diagram, he probably wouldn't be so smug. Short-sighted. Upon hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Ling Shan, who was not far away, snorted and said coldly to Mo Qingyun, Mo Qingyun, do you know the ranking of the 9 Bins Yellow Springs portrait among the 100,000 Big Dipper portraits? Is there a need for me to know about such an ordinary Big Dipper picture? In response to Ling Shan's arrogant words, Mo Qingyun shrugged nonchalantly and replied disdainfully, so you dare to speak so arrogantly because you don't understand the power of the 9 Bins Yellow Springs diagram. Upon hearing Mo Qingyun's reply, the arrogant expression on Han Yang's face became even more pronounced. I don't understand the 9 Bins Yellow Springs diagram. Upon seeing Han Yang's reaction, the mockery in Mo Qingyun's eyes deepened. He then said to the people in the Tianyan mansion, Lu Fu, Xia Wenshen, the few of you, summon the Big Dipper portraits. Yes, young lord. Upon hearing this, Lu Fu and the others didn't dare to hesitate and immediately summoned the Big Dipper portraits. Then, waves of shocking aura erupted from the Tianyan mansion. As these auras erupted, black springs that emitted rhythmic sounds appeared before everyone's eyes. After seeing this scene, Ling Zhuo and the others immediately opened their eyes wide, not daring to believe this scene was real. The 9 Bins Yellow Springs diagram. The Big Dipper portraits that these people had condensed were all 9 Bins Yellow Springs diagrams. This scene really shocked Ling Zhuo and the others. In a small Tianyan mansion, there were actually so many people who had condensed the 9 Bins Yellow Springs diagrams. How is this possible? I was able to condense the 9 Bins Yellow Springs diagrams because I consumed the spirit-breaking pill. How could they? Upon seeing the Big Dipper portraits that Lu Fu and the others had condensed, Han Yang immediately revealed an agitated expression and uttered words that were difficult to accept. At this moment, the arrogance in Han Yang's heart was instantly smashed into smithereens. The 9 Bins Yellow Springs diagrams that he had always been so proud of had actually become so ubiquitous now. This huge psychological difference made Han Yang feel as though a bone was stuck in his throat. He was extremely depressed. So, you also consumed the 9 Bins spirit-breaking pill. Upon hearing Han Yang's agitated words, Mo Qingyun revealed a playful smile. He took out a small bottle and poured out some elixirs from it. However, you're not the only one who has the 9 Bins spirit-breaking pill. I have a lot of them here as well. If I'm willing, I can create a batch of Big Dipper experts who possess the 9 Bins Yellow Springs diagrams. Mo Qingyun, looking at the dozens of 9 Bins spirit-breaking pills in Mo Qingyun's hand, Han Yang's face instantly turned green. He had once again received a strong blow to his heart. He had to admit that Mo Qingyun's move was too ruthless. It was ruthlessly trampling on his self-esteem. It made him feel like a clown. It turned out that the things that he regarded as treasures were actually so worthless and could be found everywhere. At this moment, his dignity and pride were instantly trampled to nothing by Mo Qingyun. Now, do you still think that the 9 Bins Yellow Springs diagram is very powerful and rare? Mo Qingyun put away the 9 Bins spirit-breaking pills with a look of disdain and ridicule. He asked Han Yang again, Mo Qingyun, I'm going to tear you into pieces. Hearing Mo Qingyun's blatant ridicule, Han Yang's state of mind was immediately thrown into chaos. Not only that, after Mo Qingyun activated the 5-element spirit body, the 5 elements energy in the heavens and earth immediately gathered toward him and rapidly entered his body to be refined. This was the 5 elements spirit body, the #1 unique physique among the 3,000 unique physiques. After witnessing this scene, Ling Zhuo and the others' faces immediately twitched. They were shocked by the scene before them. Mo Qingyun actually possessed a unique physique as well. Moreover, it was the 5-element spirit body that was even more powerful than Han Yang's. They could not imagine that even a monstrous talent like Han Yang would be crushed by Mo Qingyun. This How is this possible? Mo Qingyun actually possesses the 5-element spirit body that is ranked number 1 among the 3,000 unique physiques. I didn't expect Mo Qingyun's talent to be so powerful. It seems like it was a mistake to drive him out of the profound ice palace. With Mo Qingyun's powerful talent, if he grows up, he will definitely be more terrifying than Nan Gongyu in the future. At this moment, Ling Zhuo and the others had mixed feelings. They were shocked by Mo Qingyun's performance. Mo Qingyun did not pay attention to their shock. After activating the 5-element spirit body, he quickly approached Han Yang. Heavenly Flame's sky-breaking halberd. In a few flashes, Mo Qingyun arrived in front of Han Yang. Holding the blazing halberd in his hand, he forcefully slashed at Han Yang. Demonic Eye Hell Flame. Facing Mo Qingyun's forceful attack, Han Yang's third eye suddenly flashed with a cold light, and a black flame burst out from it. As soon as the black flame appeared, it turned into a winged demonic beast shadow and tore at the dragon shadow halberd light. At the same time, a shocking bloodline power burst out from Han Yang's body. As soon as the bloodline power burst out, a powerful demon shadow with 3 eyes quickly condensed outside of Han Yang's body. Seeing the demon shadow outside of Han Yang's body, the surrounding people were horrified. They felt that their blood flow was suppressed. Palace Master Han Yang's bloodline power is even more powerful than before. Even I am affected. Mo Qingyun can force Palace Master Han Yang to this point. He could die with honor. Now that he is suppressed by Han Yang's bloodline power, Mo Qingyun must be suffering. I'm afraid he can't even use 70% of his strength. 70%? I think it's good if he can use 50%, unless he also has the bloodline power to resist. Seeing that Han Yang had used his trump card, Ling Shan and the others sneered. They looked at Mo Qingyun with a hint of mockery. In their opinion, with such a great disparity in strength, Mo Qingyun would definitely die this time. Oof. You dare to be distracted when fighting with the two of us? You're courting death. When he saw the actions of Ling Shan and the others, Qi Lian coldly snorted and said some sinister words. Roar. Chapter 776. The battle between Mo Qingyun and Han Yang did not escape the senses of Ling Zhuo and the others. At this moment, as soon as Han Yang's bloodline shadow dissipated, Ling Zhuo and the others immediately discovered it. Their faces were filled with astonishment. Under the suppression of Mo Qingyun's bloodline power, Han Yang could not even maintain the bloodline shadow. This was simply too unbelievable. Didn't this mean that the strength of Mo Qingyun's bloodline power was much stronger than Han Yang's? How is this possible? Mo Qingyun actually possesses the bloodline power. Moreover, the strength of his bloodline far exceeds that of Palace Master Han Yang's. Where did this Mo Qingyun come from? How could such a monstrous person appear in such a small Great Yin dynasty? This must be an illusion. How can such a monstrous person exist in this world? Even those geniuses from the sects in the major regions are not even a 10,000th of Mo Qingyun's talent. Could it be that the heavens want our mysterious ice palace to perish? Why did they let us provoke such an existence? At this moment, Ling Zhuo and the others revealed bitter expressions. A sense of fear and despair rose in their hearts. Mo Qingyun's talent was simply too monstrous. Their mysterious ice palace had offended such a person. If they could not eliminate him, he would definitely become a nightmare for the mysterious ice palace. However, judging from the current situation, it was probably impossible for them to eliminate Mo Qingyun. Now that He Xian, Qi Lian, and Savage Beast had joined forces, they would be extremely lucky if they could leave this place alive, let alone eliminate Mo Qingyun. At this moment, while Ling Zhuo and the others were filled with emotions, Mo Qingyun's figure moved and charged toward Han Yang again. Xiaoza, Heavenly Spirit Finger. As Mo Qingyun approached Han Yang, he raised his left hand and pointed at Han Yang. Under Mo Qingyun's finger, A terrifying aura gathered in midair, forming a huge black vortex. As soon as the black vortex was formed, a huge black finger flew out from it, as if it had come from ancient times. As soon as the giant black finger appeared, it exploded with a shocking aura and crushed toward Hunyang. Devil-gathering goose cry palm. Hunyang had a serious expression on his face as he looked at the giant finger that was crushing towards him. He raised his hand and blasted out a palm towards the giant finger. An eerie black essence force rapidly condensed on Hunyang's palm, transforming into a palm of boiling devil chi. Bang! Under the collision of the giant finger and palm, an earth-shattering sound erupted, forming a terrifying essence energy storm. Under the impact of this elemental energy storm, Hunyang's body was immediately forced back, and his face became even paler. However, Emo Qingyun's situation was the complete opposite of Hunyang's.